Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Quiet Kanku for episode 23. Um, so today should be a bit more of a tame time. Should have a good time. No extreme trauma, hopefully. Um,
Yep, that's why I knocked.
we'll see. Yeah, knock on wood. But today we're gonna have the party going and prepping for something they received a invitation for from the associate of someone who had just died. You've all been invited to the Von Ripley Ball here in about a week, little over a week. And yeah, you need to get clothes, you need to get whatever else, and you also have some time to just relax and decompress after the mission that you went on. That Edna, you had taken the party out on at the behest of a druid group to slow down a logging operation. You did some scouting. You received an amulet that may have helped, but you didn't really run into a situation where you needed it per se. Um, you were able to get out there pretty quickly and unscathed yourselves. However, the building was on fire, burnt down. Most of the automatons inside are powered down along the road, or if they were inside, probably collapsed under the rubble, you have to assume. Um, it seems somebody not only attacked the vehicle that the owner of the establishment was in along the road, but also he was lying dead in his office. One of you having seen him sitting in his chair, sign around his neck saying something along the lines of, "Are you mad it wasn't you?" Um, and then another one of you, in Chiron, you saw that a figure slightly before this had landed on the roof, tall and slender, and made its way inside the building,
Shiny.
and shiny in the moonlight, and made its way inside the building. Um, and then Sapling, on watch at one point, you had seen a similar figure, uh, and glowing eyes staring at you through the pouring rain as you stayed in a small alcove, and it had just been staring at you. You went to follow, and it seemed to keep pace before disappearing up a tree. Then you went back to camp and finished your watch, and nothing else happened. At this point, you guys have made your way back to your home. You had gotten some rest. Some of you had a couple dreams. And now you are waking in the morning with some ideas of what you may need to do, but also just some time. So, on this first day, as you all wake up in the morning, what do you want to do?
Well, I don't know when the current turn is going to end and the next one's going to begin, is the
Oh, as
thing.
far as like a bastion turn?
Yeah.
Kind of, we'll be a little loose with it in this because you have,
Okay, then.
let me actually, I have it written down here. Let me get the exact amount of time you have, and then we can kind of just say that this bastion turn can land until the thing, the
Okay.
day.
Well, well then. First things first, I'm probably going to finish up my research in my library on sentience in uh automatons.
Okay. Let me. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find the thing. I'm so confused. Where is my? Oh, because it's online. I didn't print it. I thought I'd printed out the calendar. I have not. I had it online. Let me pull that up real quick. Because while I'm giving you that information. So you are again going over sentience and automatons, and something very interesting that you find out as you're finishing this up is there are many that are considered sentient, but the number that are not considered sentient uh, does still dwarf that. There are many automatons that are simply for menial tasks. A great example being the ones that were in Kingsport that pulled the tram system. They were, it wasn't the tram, but it was more of like a gondola, is the word. Um, those were in no way sentient. They were simply mechanical constructs that pulled a cable. But then you have some that were put into other purposes, such as war. Some of the machines, not too dissimilar to some of the ones you'd seen at the logging operation, um, but of course more advanced than those, would be used in a warlike purpose. Big hulking automatons that were, uh, back in the day, would have been powered by some form of arcana, um, and the ones that remain now as well. Uh, they are sentient, but very much a one track mind. They are given an order, they tend to carry it out. Having an automaton that is truly sentient, with its own free will, is incredibly rare. Um, but it can happen. Um, it's just nowadays, as magic has been outlawed, seeing them spring up is a little more rare. Due to the fact that, or rather, seeing new ones pop up is rare, since the magic used to create them is not really found anymore, not really made. But you can still find plenty around that are from the older times. Is there any other information you might be interested in regarding them? And maybe I could give you some more on it.
Uh, I was looking into why Valve might be sentient. That's why I was researching the topic.
Okay. I would say in finding all of that other information, um, you kind of gather that more than likely it is that Valve, at least part of Valve, is part of that original Arcana based sentience. But also, I have to ask a question when you're doing your research. Are you going around in the guts of Valve and looking around, or are you just strictly looking at notes and books?
Hmm, I'm probably strictly looking at books.
You have notes from its creator, Valve's creator, among these, some of them anyway. There is mention that he found something. Not that he made something, but that he found something, a place. And he went in that place and found a strange object that spoke. And he used that object, along with his own magics and technology, to create the consciousness that became Valve. Is what you're gathering. It is not explicitly put in those words. There's a lot of science fluff in there, but that is the gist of what you get.
All right.
Um, there we go. Um, okay. So that, we'll say you can kind of finish that up in a couple days there. It doesn't take too long. There we go. Okay, so actually, to give you an exact amount of time you have, because it would be the 9th. So let me put the current day on that. By the way, I'm going to try to update the current day on the actual calendar as we go. So currently it's the 9th, and the ball was on the 17th. So you have a week and a day. Um, so that would take you a couple days to do. Because you'd already been pretty far along, so that would take you, I'd say, probably 2 days to fully finish that up. Okay. Anyone else have anything in particular that they want to do on the first? We'll say the first couple days. Um, or just in general. Again, we're kind of just going day by day here. If there's anything you want to do during that week, does Seth have anything that he wants to do? Other, and this is not counting the main big shopping trip, for clothes
Yeah.
and things, but just anything outside of that Seth want to do until the event. No. What about Edna? Does Edna have anything other than shopping trip during that week and a day? that she wants to do.
Did the druids give me a letter about meeting up with them at some point?
Um, they had not. However, they seem to. It was kind of implied in one of the first letters that that courtyard is kind of like a meeting place. If you go there, they would come to you.
I should probably go there at some point just to check in.
Okay. So you make your way down there, you know the way, and you see there are a couple people milling about, but none of them that you recognize. And then a woman wearing some furs and things definitely looks out of place. She's a bit more slender, bowstrung across the back. She walks up to you and says, uh, "Is there something you require of us?"
I was simply figured that shit, since there were some things that went a bit awry with what happened, that I wasn't sure how much information you really had.
We have some as we were watching, but if you have anything you think pertinent that we may not know of, please share.
Okay, what was the city that was that the this big stone was from? That was powering the
Ah,
electricity. Was that
it was from
Burnsley?
Kingsport.
Kingsport. Haha. Are we in Burnsley? I don't remember.
You are in Bermsley, yes.
Ha, there it is. Um, do you know anything about the Kingsport and the stones that powered their electricity?
She just gives a quick nod and
Yeah, there
waits
was
for
one
you to
of the
continue.
stones that was one of the stones from Kingsport somehow ended up at this logging place, and that's what was powering all the automatons and peopleless things.
She gets a bit of a concerned look on her face and says,
That's
"That
what started the fire. Was that going a bit haywire?
I I see. It is concerning that that is so close to here. I may have some people go and see if they can retrieve it. We do not want
Good
something
boy.
like that in the wrong hands."
No, no, we don't. It was most of it. Otherwise, we didn't kill the guy. Someone else killed the guy, and then left us a note saying, "Are you mad it wasn't us? Wasn't you?" That's I was a little mad it wasn't me, but you know,
I was going to ask, truthfully, to see if it was you. So it is somewhat comforting it wasn't, because that means, I know it wasn't you and things, but it is very worrying that it was someone else. Do you have any ideas as to who it might be?
no ideas. The only information my comrade told me who was watching was he saw something shiny fly onto top and then leave, go in and then left. I do not know what it was. I wasn't there to see it, and my comrade was far away, further away.
He's gonna kind of nod and say, "Shiny flew down. There is someone within this city who we keep an eye on, uh, or rather, part of an organization that we keep an eye on, that somewhat fits that description. He is tall, maybe about as tall as you. Automata, looks like a bird, sort of. If you happen to come across him, I would be cautious. Um, especially if that is who did this deed."
I will be cautious.
And she
Thank you for
nods.
the information.
Of course. And she kind of has a satchel and she moves it in the front and pulls out a like a small stone. It's honestly maybe 2 inches across. It's very small, smooth stone, and hands it over and says, "If you need to get in contact with us quickly and you are not in the area, uh, use this. It's only a one-time use per day, so you cannot converse much, but you could get one short message."
Understood. Thank you. I'll keep it
Of
in
course.
mind.
Of course.
Well, I have nothing else for you. If you have nothing else for me, I will see myself out.
I will keep you informed if there's something that comes up soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.
And she turns and walks. Okay. Anywhere else that you go?
Before I realized I had a shield the whole time, I was gonna go buy a shield, but then I realized I had one in my inventory and I just never counted it. So, otherwise, that's all I wanted to do.
Okay. And so you have a basically a sending stone now. That is again once a day. Um so yeah, or I'll say for your notes when you're writing it down, we'll just put it once every long rest. Because that's fair to me, I think. Um okay. And what about sapling? Other than shopping? Because I figure you guys will probably do that kind of together to a point. Anything that sapling wants to do?
Nerd.
Nope. Okay.
Bestie,
What?
don't we have something that we want to do?
Do we have something that we want to do?
The special friend thing that we've been wanting to do forever?
Hey, that's yours to initiate.
It is? Well,
It
you didn't
is.
ask after I
You
did my
brought the
research.
offer.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
I was
want to
gonna
do
come back to
that.
you. Yeah, I
You
was
know
gonna come back
what?
around to
Yeah.
you.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, if nothing sapling specifically wants to do other than what you are initiating, anything else that you want to do?
I mean, I could go bug him about it.
But no, I will initiate the thing.
Either way. Okay. So, yeah, you may.
I'm gonna go knock on the sapling door.
Knock, knock, knock.
Hooray! I'm going to open the door.
I sorry, it's been busy. I made plans with well, not you, but I ah
What are you trying to say?
oh I'm going to use my earring of message to talk to the worm.
Oh, I forgot you can do that.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
I'm here for our planned excursion.
Stop doing that. That's weird.
Do you say that from the sapling or from the brain?
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Fair enough. Well, are you ready to go on this whatever?
Yeah, sure.
Great, great. I think I'm gonna take the sapling, the not sapling, out to a bookstore because I know bookstores. I would know a bookstore around because I stocked an entire library not too not too
Okay.
long ago.
All right. I would say you would actually, yeah, you would know uh would you want to go to like a big like government bookstore, or do you want to go to like
A
a
nice
small
bookstore.
a nice
A smaller
bookstore?
one.
Okay. I'd say one that you would know of is
Particularly because the horse's face is wanted right now.
that's a very good point. Um you find a place called Reader's Creed, which is a very nice but also local support local businesses bookstore, nestled in kind of like the outside of the market district. It's this very outside. You know that from the outside looks very unassuming, like every other building next to it. But you walk through those doors and it just opens up, and it's every single wall just covered. Even in the middle, there's like the shelves everywhere. Um, but very neat and tidy. The person there you know to be a notorious like very OCD about everything. Like everything is organized, cataloged by color and letter. It's yeah. So yeah, you make your way down there.
Yes. This is Reader's Creek. It's a very nice place to buy books, but if you take anything off the shelves, there's a place to put it so that the owner can reshelve it. They're a little particular about it.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought that it would be fun to find some books to read. And then we can go out of the city to read them somewhere.
Reading. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to look for a. I'm gonna look for like a historical fiction book, but like a bad one that I can point out inaccuracies in.
Oh my
Because I did.
god.
Because I know what happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any specific like topic? Do you want something on like a famous war, something about like Kingsport or a different place like
Something
that?
about like Kingsport, because I lived
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Um. Oh, we'll say an historical fiction. Okay. Um. So you go through, and it's very easy to find things. You go to the historical fiction section. You go to around the K's or looking around there, and you find a very nice book that, um, immediately it actually has like a really like new book smell. Yellow cover, like a very nice dandelion yellow. Nothing on the front or back, but on the binding, it's kind of pressed in with like silver letters. Um, it is the Kingsport Chronicled something. I'm blanking on a name. I'm gonna be real. Normally, I'm good at coming up with shit. I got nothing. It's a nice looking title. It fits what you're looking for. Um, and yeah, so you have that. Now something you would know about this place is you can buy books and you can also check them out like a library. So you don't have to buy it unless you want to. But you
Well,
find that anything else you might be looking for, either of you.
uh, well, what are you going to look for?
uh well, what are what are we supposed to be reading? Anything?
Anything that you'd like to read, really.
And the point is?
Well, to spend time with, well, me in this case, but it's a good way to spend time and get to really get to know each other a little better, know what kinds of books we like, and
So, what book did you pick? What is it about?
oh well, this is it's fiction of a sort. It's a little hobby of mine to pick up fiction that takes place in times that I was in and see if I can pick up on anything that's not quite right. It's entertaining.
I do actually have a title for you if you're interested.
Oh, yes, I am interested.
Echoes of Kingsport's Lost Dreams.
Oh, amazing.
Ooh.
I found a book title generator where you say like the genre, you describe it, and like say what like all that shit. And I'm just like, I
great.
picked one because I ran out of thought. But anyway, yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna go fuck around in the nonfiction section. I just want
Ooh,
to learn about things. What
okay.
things, though?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I would say the first section in nonfiction that you see. I'll give you a few options here, unless you have one in particular you want to find.
Me. Nah, tell me.
Okay. You have books on war and the various wars throughout this continent and the ones around it. You have books on the various different cultures that exist, specifically on the continent you're in, Idux. And then you also have a section that you see right next to that of the Elven Empire. Of course, that one there's like a little note saying that it's only updated up to a certain year, as that kingdom has closed off and not much information escapes nowadays. Um,
Mm,
but those are three options.
Hmm. Decisions. Actually, you know what? If Encarn's doing his silly little thing, are there any books about space and planets?
Still want to look in nonfiction?
Yeah,
Yes, and
I don't know if
actually,
I don't know how far astronomy has gone in this world.
actually, quite far. Because ancient peoples looked into that shit. I have lore on this, by the way. Like,
Yes.
unironically, I have a solar system. You guys just have no reason to really go there, but it's a thing that exists.
Yeah, one of my character ideas comes from space.
Um,
Wow.
do you? Okay, I have to ask a question. Do you want to know things about this system or a different
Uh, this one.
one? Okay, so let's go. Yeah, shit. Go here. I just had to find the name. Nope. Okay. So, uh, I'll say you're looking around there and you find, I think that works, a book titled Analyzing Habitability and Ecosystems Across Viridian's Planets. Viridian Celestia being the name of the system that you're currently in. That is one of the books you find. But if there's a specific thing about space you want, could look for
I
something
think
more
that book
specific.
would be good.
That'll be good. Okay. Um, and this one almost has kind of like it's almost like a soft kind of velvety cover. And it has one of those little ribbons that you can use to mark your page in a book. But yeah, okay. Got a book each. Anything else you want to look for, either of you? Any other books? You are
Good.
muted
I got my
in
book.
Chiron.
No,
Oh no.
thank you. But
Okay.
I would like to buy my book, and if a worm wants to keep the book, I will buy that one as well.
Does Worm want to keep the book?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. For the two of them, it would come out to 3 copper.
I have 3 copper. I'll actually give 4 copper because
Ooh.
I like this place.
Nice. And the person behind the counter, this kind of like slightly manic looking woman, just like her eyes darting around everywhere, making sure everything you touched is still in its place, sees you come up, grabs the money. Come back again soon.
Well, now we need to find a good spot to read in that's outside of the city. So we will be
Mhm. Okay.
probably somewhere near Valve, so probably somewhere in the forest, but
Oh yeah. Um,
Yay, the forest.
there is actually, so along the path, a little bit out of the city, but not quite as far out as Valve, there are like little clearings on the roadside that have like a mini park kind of set up.
oh, that
And
that would be
I'll say
perfect.
there's one on the way. It's got like a little pond in the middle, um, and things like that. Uh, but it's like it's wooded and it's away from people. There's no one else there right now, but it's not middle of the woods.
Awesome. Uh, this is going to be. This is a good spot to sit down and well read. Sorry if this is a little bland for a excursion. It's something that I like to do.
It's fine. It's something to do other than sit and watch.
Well, I'm going to find a bench and sit and start reading my bad historical fiction novel.
Would you like some
I would go
information about
sit
what's in it?
by the bench.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, and you sit by the bench. Okay. So your horrible historical fiction, it starts out actually pretty good. It starts out talking about no, I didn't want to open OneNote. Go away. No. No, I didn't mean to do that. Go away. There we go. Okay. Um where was I? So, you start to read through and you find it talking about various shop fronts and places throughout the city, and then it shifts perspective into more of a first person perspective, talking about a shop owner who lived in the city and saw various events, talking about seeing uh, the parades through the streets and seeing the gods, seeing them coming down from the sky and landing within the streets. One of them clad in ivory armor, a lance in hand, and all of this kind of does sound like things you might have experienced. So it starts out pretty good. Um, then it starts to kind of turn, and it's talking about how one day there was a large army that began to occupy the city, and they had a name for themselves. Uh, and the collective. And this army occupied the streets with an iron fist and began to rule. Uh, how there were strange creatures that would come via train, and these creatures would be put in cages, almost like circus animals, and then taken towards the collective's headquarters in the city. Um, and this shop owner that you're reading the perspective of talks about how one day one of these creatures escaped and came to his front door. But it wasn't a creature, it was a man. A man who, with black hair and a simple black suit, told him that he would be there for him, that he wouldn't go anywhere. The shop owner was confused. And you'd found out through reading this that the man was a little lonely. That's a thing that's brought up a lot, is that this main character is very lonely. And the book ends. Do you want spoilers of how the book ends as you're reading it? It's not really spoilers. It ends. It's kind of sad, and I'm sorry for that. It ends with the man lying in bed of old age, and he's passing away. And that man, that escapee, that person who said he would be there, simply sits there and waits. And then the man gets up out of his bed, and they walk. You definitely know, and some of the inaccuracies are that army, in the way it is described, was not there. There was an organization that led the city in lieu of the government, and it was called the Collective. But they did not rule with an iron fist. They were not a dictatorship of any kind like they're described here, and these creatures going through the streets, that never happened. Not that you're aware of. But this is described as if it is a very common thing that everybody knows. So it's the history of the city with certain things described worse than they actually were, and some fantastical elements.
Well, I am very entertained and somewhat I'm not like nitpicking, but I'm like, whenever something a bit odd shows up, I react very like outwardly to while I'm reading because I'm reading with somebody. And if he wants to ask me about something, I want to let him know that I found something interesting. So I like mumble to myself and have outward reactions.
Beautiful.
Oh, and by the
Also,
way,
I can't believe we found a book that slipped the time stream.
well, and funny, the guy who sits there, the one who watches, the one who's sitting there and is with him at the end, his name is Michael. If that name means anything to you at all.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
That's okay. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that book.
Might be the doorman, but I'm not sure. I'm assuming, but
I'll tell you, because it was something that you were all privy to, but it was a while ago. When Zernus was captured by the Collective, and he was in a cell by
right.
himself, a man appeared to him and said that he was the one that was there for people at the end, when they had no one else. Yeah.
I don't think I was actually there for that.
You
I
might
think
not have
I
been.
was. Yeah, I think I was
I
away.
think you might have been. But yeah, that was a thing. That was right before the time
Oh,
shit
cool.
really got funky. But yeah, what a sapling worm. What about your book? Are you going to read your book?
Yeah.
Would you like any information about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will tell you, this does go over the different planets in this system. There are 6 of them. It does mention the other planetary bodies like moons. However, they are obviously not really inhabitable, so it kind of just glosses over that pretty quickly. But Iodithus, of course, is the planet you're on. It has been, at this point, the surface of the planet has been entirely scoured, and it is, for the most part, everywhere is habitable. It does make mention of the Scarred Lands and how this does seem to be a more recent book as well. How in more recent years the Scarred Lands have become more inhabitable, and while its name has never changed due to its history, it has generally become a place people go if they don't want to be somewhere else. It also is where a lot of people fleeing the Elven Empire and other places like that go. It's sort of seen as a land of new opportunity. So a very increasingly habitable place. And it goes over some of the other climates and things on Iodithus, but generally it's just, normal planet stuff. There is another planet called Isakani, named after the Isakani people who lived on Iadithis. They were one of the first tribes to create written writings of history. They were the ones that charted the stars. They had a very deep and proud history. Isakani, the planet, named after them, is because they were the first to discover it. It was the first planet they discovered. Nicknamed the Verdant Oasis, it is covered in lush forest and crystalline waters. There have, through telescopes and other magical means, there were, in the past, it looked like there may have been structures on its surface. However, not enough. The Age of Magic came to an end before much could be looked into there. And normal non-magical telescopes and scrying, it is impossible to see clearly enough on the surface. And so not much has been looked into there. You have Comil, which is a very rocky planet. Rocky and metal, almost as if certain parts of the surface are just solid metal. It is a very dense world. To call it a planet is purely due to its size. It is entirely uninhabitable. Nothing could survive there. There's crushing pressures. So even if you could survive without air, it would be difficult to even stand on its surface. I'll save that one for last. You have Issei. You have Issei, which is a place where people from Iadithis at one point did have contact. There are some people who have gone there, using spell jamming ships and similar things to that. Spell jamming ships being, it does give a brief description, so even if you were unfamiliar, it does kind of describe. They are ships incredibly rare, and only some of the richest of the rich on Iadithis have access, or governments do. Spelljammers are spaceships. They are things that can, through enchantment and magical means, from the Age of Arcana, can go into the stars and go to different planets. They're difficult to operate and usually require large crews and specialized personnel, but they do exist. At least this book does describe so. But Issei did have some people that went there and just decided to never come back. Most of them were artists, people who, rich families of artists who decided they want to go there and start colonies. And so they did. It is a very lush world, similar to Isakani, but instead of like forests and jungles, it's large plains and grasslands. A lot less water on the surface of that planet. You have one other planet similarly uninhabitable to Gomil, but still considered a planet technically, that being Eleath. Although that is a place where some of those spell jammers have been taken to collect samples and things, and that has actually something it does mention as well. It's uninhabitable. The metal that is used to suppress magic in the sort of rings and amulets that are given to sorcerers in the modern age to suppress their magic, that is where the metal comes from, is from that
Ooh.
place. It just, that planet in general, if you go there, your magic just ceases functioning. Some of the first spelljammers that went there crash landed because they didn't know. And so there may be people stranded there if they're still alive. And the last planet, Nahlis. Nahlis is a place that is in its orbit around the twin suns of the solar system. It is usually pretty far from Iadithis. But every so many years, every couple decades, it passes close by. With that being said, not a lot of information is known about the place. And even when the surface has attempted to be observed, there is a mist that coats a lot of the surface, and so not much can really be seen. However, that does mean there is water on the surface or something similar. So life is possible, but it's mostly theory at this point. Though many scholars are trying to figure out what's going on there and trying to see through the mist. But again, similar to looking at other places, it is hard to get a good look at the surface, especially now that magical means are not being used. But that's it. There is some information about the stars, just like their description and stuff like that. Um, but that is about it. Oh,
Yay.
yeah, that's about it. Um, One thing that is theorized, though, and this is the last bit I'll give here, the last little thing here is that with the twin suns orbiting each other and everything else orbiting them, they do kind of dance throughout space. Scholars kind of theorizing that they rotate around each other, and in doing so, kind of steadily and at a faster pace, moving through space. Um, there is some worry that, if we were to collide with another system in the process of this, it could be catastrophe, making all places here uninhabitable, but the chances of that happening are low. Um, but yeah, a lot of information, but hey, I wrote this shit, I'm gonna share some of it.
Heck yeah.
Obviously I didn't read all that word for word, but there's a lot of shit, so yeah, it's fine. But yeah, your books. There you go. Any other information you want to look for in there? Because I might have something for it.
Good.
I'm good.
Good. Okay. And what are you two doing at this point? You have read your books. I would say that probably took like hour or two to get through, maybe longer if you wanted to take your time. But anything else you want to do?
Ah, what a letdown.
What was?
Well, they barely had any information about one of the planets.
That is unfortunate. Is it the planet that you are? I don't know how much I know about the worm. Hold on.
Not much.
Not much. Why were you interested in space? And one planet in particular?
Mm. Can you keep it a secret?
Probably not.
Oh, no reason.
I love the honesty, though.
Well, my book was delightful, if a tad bit inaccurate.
Isn't that what you wanted?
Well, yes, that's why I got it.
So, you just sit around reading for fun?
Yes, it's something I like to do.
Hmm.
Of course, sometimes I read for a reason, like I've been researching sentience in Valve.
Yeah, researching things seems a lot more useful than reading stuff like that. It was kind of interesting to learn about planets.
Well, you don't need to do something useful. It's something fun.
F is for friends. So, what do we do now?
Well, do you want to do something else?
Maybe. This wasn't much of an excursion. Well, it was, but we just sat and did different things. It wasn't like it. That didn't seem like what this was gonna be.
Well, is there something that you'd like to do?
Oh, not really. You hang out with people. What do people do for fun together?
Well, I haven't hung out with people for fun often. I usually get a little tea, some food, and just talk, just catch up usually. But I I think no, we don't.
Well, that doesn't sound horrible.
It's really tough to do things with you because of Sapling and Seth's, well, adventure they had. Would you like to get some tea back at Valve? We can sit and chat.
Yeah, we can sit and chat, and you can drink tea.
Yeah, we can head back to. We're gonna head back to Valve now, and I'm gonna drink tea, and we can sit and chat.
Yeah,
Hell
you're
yeah.
gonna drink tea.
Um, anything in particular you guys want to RP chatting about?
I have no ideas.
Just just
Um,
chit
I
chat.
will pour the worm a glass of tea.
Valid.
I will try it and immediately just nope, nope, nope out.
Yeah. Valid. Okay.
I'd like to chat a bit. I did like fucking a month ago. I don't know. This has been planned for a while. I wrote down some conversation topics.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
cool. I
Hell yeah.
haven't.
You bastard.
I'm
No, I'm kidding.
sorry.
Okay. Well, if you have some stuff, feel free.
They're very vague though, so I still need to think of what to say. So that was a history book you read. How exactly old are you?
Oh, that's a
How roughly old are you?
uh, over 300, I think.
Wow.
Yes, I've been around for a while.
So would that be morbid? Maybe. How much time have you got left?
Oh, well, I think it's tough because half I'm only half of an elf and half of a dwarf, but I think that I have about 300 or so years left still.
Oh, so that's what you are. That might have come off the wrong way, but nope. But If we tried to explain it, it would probably sound worse. So putting that aside, if hmm, if you've been around so long and you will continue to be around for so long, why do you spend your time fraternizing with people who are just like specks in your life?
Well, Maya, I just fell in with these people. It's uh, I like connecting with people because it's a tough question. I suppose it makes me feel fulfilled to help people, make people happy, and these people need me. I do my fair share of fraternizing with people my age, of course, as well. A few people.
But you could do more. Do you get sad when humans die? Like ones that you care about?
Well, yes, of course.
So then it just sounds like more trouble than it's worth.
How old are you?
Oh, never thought about that.
Oh man,
Shit.
we'll come back to that.
Oh fucking no.
We can come back to that. We can say what conversation they had outside.
In age is said, or it isn't, if
Or it
the one
isn't.
doesn't know.
I mean, I mean, uh, that's a hard question. That wasn't really something that mattered,
Hmm.
so we didn't keep track.
Well, that's very interesting. I suppose that you may think it's futile to make friends with people, even though they're going to die in my lifetime, but I'm making an impact in their life, so why should it matter how long they're in mine?
Hmm. You're a very empathetic person, it seems.
I've been told so, yes.
With that being said, you seem to care a lot about Seth.
Yes, I do.
With that being said, it's surprising that you wanted to go on this little excursion, as you call it, considering what happened between us.
Well, I wanted to try and move past what happened between you and Seth, as seems not to be having any lasting effects on him, at least not that he's telling me. And I wouldn't want it to affect the entire group.
That's logical. It's just kind of surprising. Were you upset about it?
Well, yes, but it seemed like you were upset about it as well, which shows that you probably won't try something like that again.
So you pretty much just inferred an apology.
I suppose I did.
Well, that's okay. This has been very strange.
I agree, it has been. But, the whole group is a little strange.
True. Well, normally, after a meeting with someone, you hope to get up and shake hands and say, well, this has been productive, but this has not been very productive. So maybe let's end it here.
I, did you have fun?
A bit. It wasn't bad. It was nice to do something.
Well, then, I would say it has been productive.
Hmm.
It was nice talking with you. And reading with you.
It was nice talking with you.
Fucking love the worm.
Maybe sometime in the future we'll do something like this again.
But that would be nice. And I looked in the planner chat, and I also need to do lawyer things with that rebel. I need to go to the police station and see if he's still around. He probably is.
Yes, that's a thing. Okay.
Yes, I want to do that this week. You don't have to do it right away because I just did something, but
Let's
I do want to do that this week.
no, I agree. I think actually the perfect time for that would be how about does anyone else have any individual things other than that? If so, that's okay. But if not, we'll do the shopping. And then we'll do any final individual things.
Yeah, technically, just off screen, I give the measurements to my father so that he can start making Seth's clothes. Seth's
Hell
fancy
yeah.
clothes. Because I got them from the tailor in the last
Yep.
place
Yeah.
with sending.
That works. Okay. And so you do so, and your father says, "All right, I'll get to it," and grabs the things and starts working, looking at the measurements, kind of like, okay. Well, with that, you all gather together and get ready to go, and give me kind of an idea about how much money does everyone have? Because you did get some money from. I know Edna, you
Edna
got
got
some
some
money.
money.
Edna got some money. I don't know how much everyone has because I'm trying to think of like what places would be in your budget type thing.
I have about 180 gold plus 13 platinum.
Okay. What about Seth?
I
Seth,
have-
do you know how much you have? Just
Seth doesn't, but I do. I have 110 gold and 16 silver. Seth does not know that.
okay.
Fucking broke bitch.
And what about Sapling?
I have 283 gold.
Okay. And Edna, you're gonna have the most because of all that money. What do you got?
Oh, I have 700.
Damn.
Okay.
That's from mostly just joining late
That's fair.
because I joined at level 5, so I just got level 5 money.
Oh, true. Which is honestly good for you. Okay. So you all gather together, you get your things, and you get ready to go. What? So obviously there's like a low, middle, and high district. Where are you going for these clothes? Like what level are we looking for? Because each will have like a different price, but also a different quality, a different look. How much you
Well,
willing to spend?
I already dress pretty nice, so I probably don't need a ton.
No.
I'm here to support these guys, the Edna and the sapling.
Yeah.
I don't
It's-
think any of us freaks know what we're doing, really, other than people.
Yeah.
I feel like Edna would know what she's doing, but she wouldn't like doing it.
Fair and valid. Okay. So do we want to look somewhere like high class? Go into a high class party, look at a high class?
No.
No.
If I walk into high class boutique, I will kill myself. Do not take me there.
Oh. Oh, what is the place? You actually got a name of a place. Shit, what was it called?
It was called your mom's house.
I forgot.
It was Threads, but now it's something else.
Oh
yeah,
no!
I swear I typed it down somewhere too, but I maybe I didn't. It was Threads, but it was called Bernard's Boutique. And I remember it was Bernard because it's spelled Burn. Bernard's Boutique. That's what it was. I'm
Burn
putting that
and why
shit
we
down.
burn him? Wait, who's Burn? Why we Artem?
Mm.
Hmm.
This down. Yet again. Bernard's Boutique was Threads. Okay. So that is a place you were told would have good clothing. But you could always go somewhere else if you're like, I don't want to go there. Any opposition to the place you were told about?
What kind of place is it?
It is a higher middle class. So it's like if you need something nice for like a job interview, or your day job, or if you're going to an event but don't quite have the coin for like, or don't want to spend the coin for like high class, you would go somewhere like this.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, if no oppositions, I assume you head there.
I'm good.
Yeah. So you begin making your way. Now, all of you that have gone into the city thus far, for this session, haven't really, and honestly, since you left, um, you haven't really had to travel too far in from where you are. But to get to this, you do have to travel a little bit more to the city, because you guys are inland a bit, um, on like the west side of the city. You have to head a little closer to the dock. Not all the way there, but more on the east side of the city. So it takes you a little bit, and you do notice something as you're all walking. I would say people with the higher perception here, I'd say if your perception is like 15 or above,
I
your
think that's
passive
everyone.
perception, I think that's everyone. Yeah. Then I'd say you all notice this. You see some of the buildings look heavily damaged as you get toward like the middle and far side of the city. Some of the buildings are damaged as if some of them were on fire. and are being repaired. One of the buildings you walk past is the restaurant that was owned by the Stone Giant. It looks like it has also, it was lit ablaze. Not entirely, but part of the roof is damaged. And as you're walking, you hear some of the shop owners in front of these buildings talking to just random people, and are like, "Yeah, that guy, he just marched in here with his gang and just started burning things, shouting about some people." And you hear somebody else saying, "He used to be someone I looked up to." Somebody else saying, "I can't believe someone from the church would have that in them. Someone that holy would have that monster in them." And you all knew who was coming, that Peleus was coming into the city. Now, you do hear some people saying, thank God he turned around and left. He just burned stuff and left. So it sounds like he's not here anymore. But what you hear is that he came in with a gang and just started destroying things, shouting and destroying things. Shouting about looking for some people, but you don't hear any descriptors. You don't hear any descriptions of yourselves or anything. Just, it seems like he was in kind of a blind rage and just destroying things. And then he left. He walked right out. Killed some guards on the way out, and left. But you eventually get past the path of destruction, and most of it is a couple intersections where you can look down the road and see the path of destruction from the gate. You get past that, continue down, unless any of you choose to stop for any reason and investigate more. That is an option, but no? Okay. So then you continue. And you eventually find yourself in front of a very, it looks very high class for the area it's in, which is again very like middle class. It's kind of nestled in between a few other buildings, and it's a 2-story building, although it's the type where you can tell like the place where the owner probably lives is the second floor, and the first floor is the boutique. And out front you see Bernard's Boutique. And doors are open. Do y'all enter? Okay. You look over to the one side and you can see that there is a person sitting in a chair playing the violin. And it's not very loud. It's just this very calm melody that's, playing from the one corner. The lights are a little bit dim in here. A bunch of like candles and lanterns rather than any other types of more permanent light. And behind the counter, glowing brighter than them all, is a fire genasi. The skin kind of crackling a bit. The clothes are entirely black, wearing like suspenders, or I'd say like white suspenders over top of like a black shirt, and seems to be haggling with a customer on the price of something. Eventually goes, fine, I'll give it to you. Here you go. And they finish their exchange, and then finally the attention is turned to the rest of you. Hello, my friends. What can I get for you? You can call me Bernard. What are you all looking for?
Oh,
We're
It is okay. One
You
at a
go.
time, please.
You go.
we're looking for some formal wear.
If you're looking for formal wear, well, this is the right place. What kind of event is this? So I know what to look for.
A ball.
Ooh, a ball. You need real formal. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, does it happen to be that what it is, Von Ripley ball, right? The twin moons.
Yes, it does happen to be that ball.
Got a lot of clientele coming by these days. Okay. Twin moons ball. So, hmm, maybe. And he kind of like starts looking everybody up and down. Who exactly needs things? All of you?
Um, if you think that what I'm currently wearing, I gesture to my suit that I'm wearing, would be appropriate. I don't need any, and I point to Seth. He doesn't need any. We're custom making his.
Looks your outfit up and down, just kind of like pursed lips, just squinting, looking you up and down. It'll work. It'll be fine. It still like looks at Seth. You're getting custom, okay. Don't know who your tailor is, but I'm sure it's not as good as mine. Uh, and then looks towards the other two of you, Sapling and Edna. Any specific requests for outfit?
Uh, no, nothing in particular.
Something that doesn't make me want to die wearing it.
Oh, nothing I would make you want to die, but the people that look at you and envy you. Oh, of course. Uh,
Mm, we'll see.
but are you wanting something more pants and blazer? Do you want something more like a dress?
Blazer type bit better. You put me in dress, you see what happened. Edna
I
punches her
th-
hand into her fist in her hand.
I think I like you. I make it maneuverable and breathable as well, just in case. Um, any
You
colors in
understand.
particular?
Green.
Green. I can do green. Green with maybe some browns mixed in.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, my very large friend? What could I get you? Looking at Sapling. Any specific colors or I see you have a hat. Do you want something to maybe complement the hat?
Uh, no, I don't think it's very formal. Um, maybe I could go for something green and brown. We can match.
Hmm. I'm trying to give me a second. I'm trying to remember the name of something because there's a thing he would offer here for you, but I don't know what it's called. Uh, I guess. Oh, what the fuck is it? Yes, that. Okay. He's gonna kind of look at you and go, I do have some centaur clientele that come in on the occasion. And some of them opt to go for something like a caparison. It's like a cloth covering over the back. It's we could find something to match the rest of the outfit if that's something you're interested in.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
All right. It's very much a for formal events. A type of thing. It's very showy. Um, and it'll kind of like look you both up and down, take some measurements. Um, and we'll kind of like while taking the measurements, look at all of you and go. So, don't take any offense. I'm sure you're all wonderful people, but what kind of thing did you do to get invited into that ball? Because truthfully, you don't all look like you're made of money, but I could be wrong.
I'm not exactly sure.
Ah,
We're very interesting.
I'll take your word on that. All right, I think I've got what I need. Writes a couple things down. Uh, so you'll need them in about a week. I should have it done in a couple of days. I do ask for half up front at least, although you could pay in full now if you wish. For the 2 outfits alone, that would run you 10 gold apiece, 20 gold total. And if there's any other accessories that the other 2 of you want, pointing toward Chiron and Seth, uh, any accessories, hats, anything of the like, ties, of course that would be extra.
I should be all right.
Okay. And kind of looks at Seth. You haven't said much. What about you? Any neat accessories you would like? I could think of a beautiful turquoise necklace that would actually look wonderful with your complexion.
No thanks.
Not a problem. And again, 20 gold total for the 2 outfits. Again, half up front or in full now. Up to you.
I will give full.
Okay, given full.
You.
So that's
Who's
10
paying?
gold from you. Up to you. You could pay separate, together. Up to you.
Edna's gonna look at Sapling. I get decent money from job we just do. I can cover, if you don't mind.
If you're offering.
I'm offering. Hands over 20
Alright.
gold.
Hands over 20. Okay. 20 gold paid, and he nods. Well, maybe you have more money than I thought. And takes it, puts it away. Well, at this point, give me a couple days. I'll have it ready for you.
My thanks.
Of course, and if you need anything else in the meantime, you know where to find me. I don't go anywhere often. Okay. Outfits purchased. Is there any other places that you guys want to shop while you're out? Anywhere you want to go with all that new acquired wealth? Or at least Edna with the new acquired wealth.
Edna's got
Anywhere,
nothing else to do.
Yeah, I don't think I have anywhere to go except for that thing that I want to do on my own.
Yes, which do not.
I
worry.
cannot take them to the guard station.
True.
Why
no.
not?
Oh no. Um. So before we get to that, you all are walking back, and you get about to the area of the just path of burn and destruction, and occasionally you see like spatter of blood on the ground. You get to that area, and you see somebody approaching you, like just beelining straight for you. This person is tallish, not Edna tall, but tall. Um, wearing sort of like a shawl over the shoulder, eye patch over the one eye, and just really tousled hair, darker complexion. A woman. She also has a very large sword on her back, and on her hip looks like a small, but very deadly looking gun. And she walks up to you, and she says, I would appreciate it if you all could come with me for a little bit, please. The head of the Von Ripley estate would love to meet you.
Well, I looked the right. I suppose we can.
I thought we were supposed to be dressed up better than this.
Well, that's for later. That's
This is concerning the reason for your invitation.
yes, we were wondering about that.
Of course. Follow me. And she's just going to turn and start walking.
All right.
And,
Oh.
huh. In Chiron. So you are Arcana domain specifically.
Yes.
I think it makes sense that you might notice something. Go ahead, make an Arcana check.
Oh man, I love these.
Because it's like you are very in tune to Arcana. This is a thing you know. So you could.
Uh, 14. Terrible roll, but I have plus
Yeah.
10.
There is something just a little bit off about her, like, aura. Like, everybody who has any kind of, whether it be magical items on them or magic in general, they have kind of an aura about them.
Except us, because of the
Except-
spell.
Yeah. Um, she has something, and you can't quite place what it is, but it's very well could be the weapons on her, could be her clothing itself, or her herself. You're not 100% sure, but there's definitely something here, and it's just a little off.
Hmm.
It does not strike you, though, as any kind of illusion. It's just strange. And so you are walking.
I have a question.
Yes.
The things, am I allowed to show them as they show up?
Sure. So there's actually a picture of this person here. Though you do not have a name yet, it is the one that was just posted. It kind of, she has kind of like a pleasant smile on her face when you see her, but the moment she turned and started walking, her face just kind of fell. It's very much in act sort of thing, just very stone now. And so you walk, and you are heading toward the richy rich end of town, where you saw a lot of the bigger houses and things like that during your time in the city and some of the nicer areas. Um, you end up approaching a kind of sprawling house. It's a fenced-in area. There are a few not secondary houses on the property, but rather there are just kind of like bigger sheds, like a large, fancier barn essentially. Um, and that just kind of like off the property, separate from the house. There are a few guards outside the gate, which immediately open without a word when you guys approach, and she begins to head inside the house. She opens the door for you all, motions for you all to enter, and upon doing so, you see that you are in the main entry hall. There is a staircase on the far end that goes up and then splits one way and the other. There is lining this space. You can see various display cases showing. In some places, it looks like parts of automatons. Some of them just look like little trinkets. Various different things scatter the room. Similar to how some people would have like suits of armor, but instead they're this display cases. And standing there is one of the people that shares a guard uniform, but clearly more custom tailored. He has blonde hair, which Connor, go ahead and send the other one. He has blonde hair and
Which version?
the regular version. No, not yet. He blonde hair, tied back very tightly, with some kind of messy parts falling down. The purple shawl over the shoulder, and sort of very very dark leather armor. If this first woman's face had fallen, his looks like it is in a resting. It's like no emotion has ever graced his face. It's just very flat. Um, and the woman nods to him, he nods to her, and he says, "Please follow me." And he starts to head upstairs. So, follow upstairs. You are led down one of the many hallways in this very large house. And you find yourself standing in front of a very ornate wooden door, which he gives a couple knocks. Somebody opens it, and inside, sitting there, is an elven man. His hair is jet black, almost looks unnaturally so, olive skin and green eyes, wearing robes, and he's sitting behind a desk, Um, and he says, "Oh, let them in, please. Thank you." And you are all allowed into the room. You all enter. Okay. There are a few chairs set up. Enough for all of you across this desk. Although you can tell they brought chairs from other rooms. It's a bit cramped. And especially Sapling, you kind of go in there, and it's very cramped. And he kind of sees this and goes, remove make more remove one of the chairs, make some more room. And so they do, and so it's a little more comfortable. And you're sitting across from this man, and he doesn't look that old. Like, for an elf, he doesn't look that old. And I'd say in Chiron you can kind of tell, elven lineage partially, you can tell maybe mid-age. Still looks pretty young, but like you can see certain signs. So probably about mid-age. And he takes a deep breath and says, first off, how are we all doing this evening? I want to make sure we're all doing good. How was the walk here?
Pretty good. A little confusing, but
Of course.
pretty
Of
good.
course. So obviously, you are in my home. I'd like to say, because they probably did not introduce themselves. The person who walked you here from the city, that is Samira. She is one of my head bodyguards. And the man who is currently standing outside the door, waiting to kill you if you try anything, that is Mika. He is a treat. Um, my name is Siren. I am the head of the Von Ripley house. First off, welcome to my home. I assume you all have your invitations. Of course, that is not for today, as you know. It is not the day. But you do have them, correct?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. Could I ask a very important question? And I trust you would be honest with me. Where did you get them?
I look at a sapling.
We got them. They were inside of a letter that was given to me by I don't fucking remember.
You did not have a name for the person,
By
but
a guy.
Do you remember where you got them? Like where you were when you got them?
Um, yeah, it was when I got fucking snatched and I got taken inside.
Okay.
I just don't remember what the person looked like who gave them to me.
That's okay. We can say that you describe it because for a character it hasn't been that long, but for us it's been a little bit. Okay. So you describe the person. This Siren that you were introduced to, he kind of nods slowly, purses the lips a little bit, and goes, all right. So, going to be entirely truthful with you, okay? Uh, that is not where you were supposed to get them from. We had a courier that was out and about and was going to try to find you, was going to locate you, give them to you. Well, we just had to bury said courier recently. We think he was killed in the attack on the city. However, when we went to retrieve the body, the letter was gone. So, somebody took it. You still got them though, so that's good. But it is a little concerning. Just a little bit, considering it sounds like the person you got it from is the new owner of the logging mill because the old one got assassinated. Little concerning. You wouldn't happen to know anything about the assassination of that man, would you? The Baron? You wouldn't have to do anything with. You have nothing to do with it, right? No,
Nope.
no. Okay, okay. I trust. I trust. Okay. Well, so with that being said, he's going to like kind of sigh. He reaches under the table and he pulls out a bottle, sets it up on the desk. Would any of you like a drink? I know it's like noon. Is it noon? I don't know what time it is. Would anyone like a drink?
No, thank you.
Why not?
Why not? I like you. And he's gonna grab a glass. Anyone else? Any? It's wine.
Sure, why not?
Sets another one.
Why
Edna's
not?
just kind of like shake her head, put her hand in front of her, and just like no, without saying no.
Okay.
Edna's not saying a word.
Okay. And takes out a couple glasses, hands them out, pours like the rich people amount where it's like a little bit, and then goes little more, and then goes over to his glass, pours the amount, little more, little more. Okay, he's like, no, that's too much. All right, that's enough. And he puts it back under the desk. Well, I suppose let's discuss first off, why you are here. Um, you had done some guard work for the dignitary for the city. And frankly, there have been some big events, like an attack on the city. That's a pretty big event. Uh, among other things, the terror acts across the city. So, with such a big event, we are hiring some people. You are not the only people being hired or asked to do some bodyguard work if you're interested. Of course, you would get to enjoy the festivities, still dress up and everything, but if the shit were to hit the fan, as you say, you would be in charge of getting guests out of the place, as well as making sure that they don't instigate fights amongst each other. Sometimes the rich are like children.
Well, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. We're experienced in the field, as you've pointed out.
Now, in case you seem on board, but for the rest of you, or even you a bit, if there is any hesitation, um, you would of course be getting paid on top of being able to attend the party. I would give you half up front, uh, just to ensure good faith. I'd hate to have the bodyguards turning on me halfway through.
How much are we looking at for the job?
Total is 2,000, so you would be getting 1,000 up front.
That's a lot, Seth.
In gold as well, in case there was confusion. It is a good amount. So you'd be getting 1,000 up front, attend the festivities, and then upon the night's close, you would be invited up to my office to get the rest. It will be either me or my husband who would give you the rest. Depends on who's available. I may be too sloshed to do it, to be honest with you. So it may be him. But yes. It probably would be best for you to get somewhat familiarized with the grounds. If you'd like to get a tour, I can have someone show you around, know where all the exits are and such. But first, are you accepting the job?
I suppose so, yes.
Yeah.
Don't see why we wouldn't.
All right.
Pay is good.
Well, first off, I suppose we get this out of the way. He's going to reach back under the desk, pull out a very large sack, set it on the table. You can do what you wish with this. This is your 1,000. If it is a gold short, you can let one of my people know and we'll get you the remaining. But it should not be.
Right.
Our treasurer is very thorough. There you go.
I'll write this down in the banner chat.
Yeah, you have 1,000 gold pieces. Okay, so you have that. And he says, I will have one of my associates lead you around. And he kind of raises his voice a bit. Mika. And the man opens the door, peeks through. Yes. Please, get Victor. He will show them around. And door closes. And you actually can tell, like, you hear a click when the door closes. There's a lock from the outside. So he clicks, locks the door. And then a minute passes. The door, click, opens. And you see from about, like, 6 feet up, 7 feet up, you see a bearded face poke through. And behind it you can see, looks armored. Pete pokes through and goes, Ella, please, come with me. I'm Victor. I will be showing you around the grounds. You may ask questions as we go. I am like your tour guide. And he then fully opens the door so you can get through, and you see this is not an armored figure. It is a dwarven head smack dab near the top and middle of a mech, basically. Just a mech body. The arms and legs are very blocky in shape, but he seems to move with fluidity that is not expected. But he looks very pieced together. Like there are parts of him that are like rusted and things like that. But he's got a big smile on his face. He looks very happy. He says, "All right, please follow me. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know." Okay. And so he begins, and again, interrupt me if you have questions. He begins leading you around the grounds, starting in the hall you're in. He kind of points that some of the rooms are guest rooms, some of them are various offices for like the treasury and stuff like that. He even points out that they have a research and development department where they're designing some of the innovations for the city. And we will take breaks soon, but I'm gonna get through this part real quick. But you know, he goes down into the main hall where you'd originally entered through, where you can see that they seem to be moving. You can kind of see now that they're actually doing it. People are moving things off to the sides of the room, as this main hall will more than likely be where the ball is taking place. This and kind of spreading into adjacent rooms. And they're getting all that stuff ready. You're showed the courtyard, which is in the center of the home, just sort of a big square space with benches, like ponds and things like that. A very, very nice space, calm all in all. Which near one of those ponds, sitting on a bench, you can see a graying man, which I'd say, yeah, from there you can see like the hair is gray and kind of tied back. Was a redhead at one point, but now it's kind of going. Very fancy dress. Anyone, I think in Chiron you'd be the only one. Go ahead and make a history check, because you're the only person that would have any chance of knowing this. Because you're old.
Because I'm old.
Yeah.
Natural 20 for a total of 25, I believe. Yep,
You
25.
do know this person. You do know this person because you would have seen them through many of the parades and things like that would have happened in the city, as they were a rich figure. Sometimes they would be part of it, usually with a large mechanical dragon that they would ride. He turns his face and you see half of it is mechanical, as well as parts of his body, his one arm and legs. This is Lucia von Ripley, the namesake of the company, the house, the ball. But at this point, it seems the business has been turned over to this siren that you met. But he simply gives you all a nod and then goes back to just kind of looking out at the water and fiddling with something.
I give a nod back in respect because this is debatably his house.
But yeah, you're showed all the exits, the muster points for guards, because they do seem to have a guard force here. He does mention a few places you're not supposed to go into. Does not say why, but just like these places are off limits to you and everyone else. So like if you see somebody heading in that direction or see the door cracked during the ball, probably get one of the actual guards to go investigate why the door's cracked. And that way you don't have to go down there. It's heavily implied that you will be forcibly removed if you are found in those places. But yeah, you're given a general tour of the place and told like, go here, don't go here, here's exits. If this happens, do this. And it's generally just like, if things start going badly during the ball and it's a danger to other people, your job is to get everyone out. If someone is injured, he says to come to him. He has, if you cannot do it yourself, to come to him. He has, and he kind of even shows his arm unfolds into like a medical bed with like a bunch of tools and things, and he puts it back up. He says, if person is very injured, cannot get to doctor, come to me.
Important question about this job. A few of us are magically inclined, and would that be something that we would be allowed to do, or should we stay away from that?
Truthfully, none of us give a shit, but if you see someone who looks priestly, just turn them around first. Forcibly if you have to. And to be entirely honest, if they try to cause a fuss, we'll handle it. You are under our employ.
All right, then.
Yes, but that is a good question, and good to know that some of you are magically inclined. Yeah, just be careful not to burn the house down.
Oh, of course, yes.
But yes, with that being said, that's about it. Does anyone have any questions of any kind, other than the one that was already asked? No? Okay. Well, I will be around. I was told to tell you to be here like an hour before start time, and he tells you a rough start time around like 6 p.m. that day. Just be here a little bit an hour before so we can get you acclimated with the other bodyguards we have employed, as well as our own personal. I will tell you this. There are some people you may see wearing black armor, similar to the to Mika that you met. But most of them faces covered and things like that. If you see anyone of that like, no, you did not. You are to ignore them entirely. They are. There is a very low chance you will see them, but possibly. Just ignore them if you do. They are our personal guard. Well, if no further questions, you are free to go. I can lead you to the exit, and then just be there hour before time. And so he leads you toward the exit. I'm going to say, in Chiron, you're the one who kind of saw originally. In Chiron and Sapling, actually. because both of you kind of saw. So you're walking. Ah, fuck it. Actually, all of you, because at one point or another, you would have either heard the description or seen it. Because Edna, you had been told, watch out for a automaton birdman. And in Chiron, while you didn't hear mechanical birdman or anything like that, you had seen something tall, slender, metal land on top of that building. And Sapling, you'd kind of through the rain seen it as well. Seth, you're the only person I don't know that would immediately make any kind of connection, because you didn't really see or hear anything. But the rest of you, as you're being led toward the exit, once you get back to the main hall, you see standing there Mika, looking very annoyed, chatting with this thing, this creature, is a tall, I believe around 8 foot. Yeah, about 8 foot. Slender, shiny mechanical bird. It's wearing a cowboy hat and kind of like a shawl over the shoulder. Lots of blues and silvers. And seems to be chatting with Mika, who looks annoyed. But Edna, this does match the description of what you were told to look out for. And it is tall, slender, and metallic. Whether or not that is specifically what you saw, you're not sure, because the distance was too great. But it does kind of... It has similarities to what you saw. And it kind of head turns in your direction as you walk, and you can kind of feel its gaze linger on each of you for a moment. Before... And just kind of like watches you as you're leaving, and does not take its eyes off of you until you leave. Then Victor leads you to the door, opens it. Thank you for coming. If you need anything, let one of the guards at the gate know if it is before the day of. And somebody will let us know. Have a nice day. So, you are let out. And I think real quick, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And then we will continue from there. Break time. Woo!
Yippee!
I'm so professional. Here we are. So,
Balls.
balls. So that's what you're going to, correct? Um, you are. You guys leave the building. You're escorted out. The guards let you through the gate, close it behind you. What now? What are you doing at this point? Any conversation about all that, or you want to do, or what do you do? You tell me.
So it's bodyguarding again. I don't particularly mind. It's a shame that I won't be able to wear something nice for the ball, but I'm sure all three of you will look amazing.
I'm a little disappointed that it's just a job.
Not just a job. I mean, we can still hang out. It's just a job if someone does something stupid, and we have to pay them.
Yeah, but that means I can't drink or do anything stupid.
Oh no!
If everybody, if I could have a quick moment. As we're talking about making issues, I may make an issue. I do not get along with the ritzy types. If I hit somebody or look like I'm going to hit somebody, take me away, or tap me on the shoulder or something, because I'll lose us a job, basically.
All right, I will keep an eye on you.
Appreciated.
I make no promises to be on my best behavior.
This is gonna go great.
Okay, I'll watch Sith, and Chiron, you watch me. I've got Sith.
All right.
Sapling, I trust you.
Okay.
So we'll all be watching each other in case anybody tries to start anything. All right.
Exactly. We'll all be watching Sith and possibly Sapling, but I trust Sapling, so I don't think so.
This is gonna go swimmingly. Okay. I love this.
We're gonna
I'm
swim to
glad
our
this is how this
deaths.
is going. Yeah.
Keep on swimming.
Okay. So, where do you all go at this point? Is there anything group wise that you want to do at this point? Now that you have more money, more information, on what exactly you're doing here, anything as a group that you wish to do, whether that be shopping or otherwise. Hello, s'mores. Okay. No, nothing. All right.
I have a thing I'd like to do by myself.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, let me do the Encheiron thing real quick because that was first, and then we'll get to that. And then if there is anything individual for anyone else, we can do that as well. So Encheiron, you at some point during the week, that they're not closed, or unavailable, you make your way down to the guard station where the rebel is being held. About what time of day would you go down to do this? Around lunchtime, noon, or like dinner time?
Yeah, probably around midday.
Midday? Okay. Make your way around midday. It's actually a very clear day. Fairly nice. So you make your way down there and inside the building, and at the front desk there's a clerk. They kind of, say, welcome to this place. They seem very tired, like they've been up all night. What can I do for you?
Oh, I'm Encheiron Laratri, and I'm a cleric, and I'm here to see one of the people being held here about legal counsel.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Then he kind of like passes a paper forward. Just sign here. You got to check in, and then if you know the name of the person you're coming to see, mark that down. If not, we'll have someone help you find them.
All right, I will look over, but I've probably seen this. I've done this before.
Oh, many
Sign
times.
in. Yeah.
You don't even got to look where you got to sign because you just know. It's just muscle memory. You just all right. And then they say, "Do you need
I do
anything?"
need help finding the person. I believe it was a vandalism charge for the statue.
Got it. Oh, okay, got it. Yep. And they they point to one of the people, motion to you, and one of the um other guards comes over, like really gruff looking uh middle-aged human man. He's wearing standard guard attire minus any helmet that might be worn and just has a sword on the hip. And he says, "Follow me." And as you're led through the building, it's a very kind of musky smell. As you're making your way through here, it kind of just hits you as soon as you start making your way back. It's a mix of like stagnant water, uh, body odors. Connor is dying. Are you okay? All good? Okay. Oh God. Strawberry tried to kill you? Okay. All good. Um, but these odors, the body odor of just people packed in here, and you can see there are a fair number of people in here. And as you both pass, you are getting shouted at by some of them, various things. Um, but eventually, you're led to a cell where one person sits quietly, just kind of sitting, bit of a soft smile on their face, and just kind of like head leaned back against the wall, and they're sitting on their cot. Um, and the guard says, "This is your guy. Um, he's been quiet and in some cases refusing to cooperate with questioning, but good luck."
Uh, Hello there.
Man, the smile kind of grows a little bit, and he just kind of like lulls his head forward so he can see you. And he's he is a half elven man, much younger than yourself, maybe 100, maybe a little over. Um, Kind of tossed, messy brown hair, grown out a little bit, and he's got like a little bit of a scar on the side of his face. Um, Skin's a little bit on the tanner side, but not a whole lot. And he kind of looks at you and goes, "What you want?"
Well, I heard from a colleague of mine that you're in need of some legal counsel for a pending trial. I'm
Yeah,
here to provide that.
Are you like one of those state mandated lawyers, or what are you?
Uh,
Like, what are you? Do I gotta pay you for this?
Uh, no, I am technically a state mandated. Yes,
So I'm fucked then if I accept your help.
well, I will do my best to help you.
Make a persuasion check.
Ugh. 13.
13. Kind of squints at you a little bit. He's like, "I'm listening. What do you want?"
Well, I'd like to know more about your case, more about who you are, and I'd like to work with you to help you.
Oh, fine. Fine. Guard, can we get a room? And the guard, kind of grumbles something and pulls out a set of keys. So you might want to stand back.
I will stand
So
back.
he opens the door and he walks into the cell where the prisoner is, and he, puts him in chains and starts to walk him out of the cell. Guard motions for you to follow. Um, and you're taken to like a side office room where it's a little quieter. The walls are thicker, so you can't hear the screaming of the other inmates and um, the other sounds from the building of like just work being done. So you're taken to this room. Guard says, "I'll be right outside the door. Just knock if you need anything." And he still keeps the chains on the guy and kind of like does the whole like chain him to the desk type thing, so he can't attack you.
Yeah.
And there's a seat. Do you take it across from him?
I will, yes.
Okay. So you sit down and he says, "So you want to know something about me? Well, do you want like my history? Do you want to know specifically why I did what I did? All of the above?"
Whatever you're comfortable sharing.
First off, yes, I did what I did. And I'm proud to say I did it. Destroying that statue was. It needed to be done. So you work for the state. You say you're state mandated. Why do you do what you do? Why do you work for them?
Well, I want to help people. And I didn't go into the church doing this. I was kind of chosen to do this, but this is a way I can help people.
So you were chosen to do this. You got my curiosity. What'd you do before?
Well, I went around to different communities and helped people there. I used my magic. I helped with crops and with repairing and healing. General
Oh,
helping.
you know what's funny about that is, my dad, he wanted to help too. My dad, he really wanted to help. He, uh, he was a wizard. Practiced the arcane arts. He was top of his class out of the college. He was one of the best. He even started teaching me a few things, when I was younger. And then suddenly magic's not okay anymore. We were making such promise. I had just started to learn my first actual spells, getting off cantrips and things. And then suddenly I'm being told it's not okay and I have to stop. And if I don't stop, I'll get in trouble. I'm a kid, so I get scared and I stop. But my dad, he didn't. And, well, he's gone now. I don't even think he got a trial. Although I don't know. I wasn't allowed to be there. If he did, I wasn't allowed to see him. He was, and he kind of gets like a far off look in his eye, a bit of a glaze. He kind of stops. So anyway, he wanted to help. He did, just like you're saying you do, but he didn't want to help by their rules. He wanted to make positive change, but not by their rules, and he was punished for it. So, and I didn't do anything about it, of course, because I was too scared. But I was done being scared. So I took a statue. It didn't hurt anybody. I just took a statue. An act of rebellion, I guess. Small thing. Something that wouldn't hurt anybody, but maybe hurt somebody's ego. And now I'm in prison. They're probably gonna dig up some dirt about my history. That I was a part of a family of mages, and then, well, and then it's what is the pyre? for me?
Uh,
But you're here to help, right?
No. Yes, I am. In destroying the statue, did you use any magic?
No.
I'm gonna insight check
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure. Oh, I don't even need to roll the second dice. That's a natural 20 for
Okay. Oh, sorry, what's the total?
28.
28. Jesus. He is lying.
If you want me to help you, I need to know exactly what happened. I need to know the truth.
I make a persuasion check. Cuz he's trusting you and he's told you some things, but he is very reluctant to tell you something.
Another natural 20 for a total of 25.
25. You're oh damn. If there's ever a time, right? During the thing you're good at. Your demeanor kind of puts him at ease and he goes, "All right. Look, I met some guys. They thought like me, they'd lost things too, some of them being hunted themselves. I met them and they said that we would strike at the heart, we would do things, but first we had to do small things to get people together, to show people that we wouldn't take it anymore. So I pulled out one of the old tricks I learned. It was It's funny how much a small spark can do. Just a small flame, no bigger than the tip of your pinky. But combine that with certain materials and other arcane elements that aren't necessarily magic specifically, but are arcane elements, magical in nature, and you can do some things. I don't remember all what was in it. I didn't make it, but it was explosive. Now, magic was used. It is magical in nature, the way it's built. Some enchantment on it. Uh, but, yeah, magic was used. It just wasn't all mine.
Well, it sounds like you were an accomplice at most, though since you are the only person that was caught, they will likely try to pin the whole thing on you. I can probably reduce to you being an accomplice. Is there any wood involved, like, found at the scene?
Not that I know of, but possibly. Listen, just let him pin it on me. I I can't give them up. I'd rather take the whole thing than I won't be the reason that other people get caught. I can't let that happen.
What's your name?
My name's Breck.
In Chiron.
Nice to meet you.
I will try to find a way to get you to have a at least lesser. But if you really want to say that you did it and you're proud of it, I can't stop you from that.
Kind of takes a deep breath and leans forward on the table a little bit towards you and says, I don't want to die. I really don't. But at the same time, I finally found people who seem to give a damn. I won't give them up. And you seem to as well, but, well, truthfully, you're more with them than you are with me. And I trusted you, I told you a lot, and I said more than I should have. But I trust you won't go against what I want.
I won't.
If you have some idea of how to get me a prison sentence rather than a death sentence, I'd take it, but don't worry about anything else.
Well, you said it was a magical item that was used to damage the statue, yes?
Inherently, yes.
I suppose I could make a case that the magical item used was not enchanted by you, but enchanted before magic was outlawed.
Perhaps that I found it somewhere.
Yes, you found it somewhere, and use of a magical item is not prohibited, so you would get the vandalism charge, of course.
Okay. Okay. That could work.
It's I look forward to working for you, and in the pursuit of honesty, I have to tell you this is I don't have a good track record.
His face kind of loses a little bit of the hope that it was gaining, and it just kind of. He just nods solemnly.
But
Well, it's better than
I,
nothing.
I think this could work.
Okay. Okay. I look forward to hopefully being a positive mark on that track record.
I hope so too. I'm going to reach a hand out to shake his hand.
He'll kind of struggle a little bit and just kind of shake
Yeah.
the hand. All right.
I'm going to. I don't want you to die. I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that.
Appreciate
And
it.
I'm going to go knock on the door.
Okay. You go knock on the door. By the way, the thing I sent you was just the name and what he was, so I didn't forget. I forgot because I forget names. So you
I
go
do
knock
too.
on the door. You go knock on the door, and guard opens it. All good.
Yes, I will be representing him. I probably need to do some paperwork for that, but all good. Yes.
And he goes in the room, grabs Breck, and takes him back to his cell. And unless there's anything else you want to do here, there's like a little bit of
Yeah, there's
paperwork as far as
paperwork,
like
but
yeah. But other
yeah.
than that, anything else you want to do while you're here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Most of the paperwork is just like I fills in name, will be representing fills in name.
Fills in name.
Yeah. And there's like a scribe that helps like sits there and fills in all that as like a witness that you're doing all that. So yeah, all of it's filled out. And then that's good. Where do you go at this point?
Me, I will probably go home.
Okay. Heading home. And okay. And now you have a client that you are representing. Okay. We'll see where that goes. Exciting. And Seth, you had something.
Well, once Chiron gets back, I need to bug him for something, so.
Oh, okay.
Hey, could you maybe do me a favor?
Yes. What?
Could you maybe send a message to Olakas? See if he's still around? I have
Yeah.
questions for him.
Oh, sure. Yes. What do you want me to say?
Just ask if he's still around town, and that I'd like to talk to him. Privately.
I will sending to Olakas. Hello. It's in Chiron. Are you still in Bermsley? Seth wants to talk. I'm not sure what about. I didn't ask. And that's my message.
You receive back 15 minutes. That's it.
He says he'll be ready in 15 minutes. Probably here.
Alright. I'm just gonna go wait outside for him so he doesn't sneak his way back in. Last time I'm surprised no one said.
All right. Have a good chat.
Thank you. And then he's gonna go wait outside for Olakas.
Okay. Like just like right outside the front door type thing. Okay. So you head down, wait outside the front door, and you don't really know how long. Like it's not like you can count the minutes and get to 15. So you kind of just wait. And it feels like it's been a little bit and you don't see him coming down the little pathway or anything. And then you get a tap on your shoulder from behind you. I thought you were in your room. You were not in your room.
You're lucky I don't punch you.
You couldn't. What do you need?
So, we're doing a job for, Von Ripley's. Wanted to see if maybe there's anything, you or the monastery might be interested in.
He just kind of stares at you for a moment, which you've come to realize is him thinking. He doesn't do what some people do. It's like looking off, like, No, he just kind of will stare at you and then eventually say something. So he's just kind of staring at you. Perhaps. Look at the different attendants, if any of them look particularly of note. Any that are strange, eccentric, perhaps, saying strange things. Anything you hear, see, try to share it.
There were some interesting people already, although they work rather closely with them, I'm guessing. So I don't know if you'd know them already.
Describe briefly. If you know names, names suffice, if not description.
I know one of them was Samira. Another was Mika. Then there was a really big guy. Looked kind of funky. Mostly metal, except his head.
Okay, that narrows it down more. I was going to say mostly metal doesn't narrow it down. And there was a bird, was there not?
There was, yeah. He looked at us weird.
I do know them, but how much do you know of them?
Not much. Practically nothing.
Would you like some information on them, since you're going to be working so closely to them?
I think it could be useful for us.
I don't know everything, but I do know a bit. We keep a close eye on most aristocrats, and it's hard to get information on them, so we had to try a bit harder. This Samira, from what we've gathered, she has demonic energies about her. Not quite to the degree of being demonic herself, but something about her. There are parts of her that radiate demonic energies. So watch out. She seems a bit sadistic. Yeah, and you should be taking the notes. You're the one in the conversation. Telling everyone else to take notes. She is of demonic persuasion in some way, shape, or form. The large one, metal except for the head, that is Victor. He is not a threat. He may look it, but he is not a threat. However, he is a form of medic. That is what we've gathered. He should not be a threat. He could crush your head quite easily, but that is not. I don't believe he would. Though, if things go poorly, you could use him as quite a big shield. The large bird, Stodl, you often will not see weapons on his person. However, he has many firearms within his person. So, get up close and personal if needed. He's a little bit weaker there. And the blonde one, Mika, he has a very high tolerance for poisons. We've tried to take him out once or twice. He was a problem. Poisons don't work. In fact, he uses them quite a bit. As for why we had to try to take him out, he was hunting somebody we were protecting. Though the monastery does not have ill will with the Von Ripley family. Business is business. Besides, we couldn't make moves even if we wanted to.
Why is that?
They supply much of what the church uses in terms of armaments. And they are, for all of their flaws and how little they can be trusted, they do provide a good service to the community, providing some of the more advanced prosthesis, which, in the industrial areas of the city and surrounding, is quite beneficial.
You say they can't be trusted.
They are shifty. They are liars. They are, in some ways, some of them cruel. As I said, this Samira seems very sadistic in what she does. But despite all of that, they are true to their word. In the most part, at least the heads of house are. The heads of house, the Siren and Lucia, they are honest, better. But those under them are the ones that I don't believe can be trusted. At least not to other people working with them like yourself. Lucia and Siren are loyal to each other, and their people under them are loyal to them. Even that Samira.
Understood. Is there anything else that you want us to look for? Want me to look for? Other than just, people attending.
There have been whispers that some people may be trying to infiltrate the guest list. People that are of rebellious persuasion against the current government. If you recognize any of them, as I suspect you might, do not interfere, do not interject unless they cause a fuss. In fact, let them do whatever they may do, unless it would harm someone else. But make sure to let me know who, when, and where.
Alright, I can do that.
Especially if it's the tiefling. I suspect he may be there. That is all. Anything else?
We did a different job recently, and there was something weird about it.
What would that have been? I was not aware.
We went to deal with a bunch of loggers, and we went into it fully expecting to possibly have to kill someone. That would have been on me. But someone else killed it.
So that wasn't you.
No. And Chiron mentioned that the person that he saw that he assumes did it, they were large, shiny, came from the sky. I think a lot of the group's pretty sure we know who it is, but I don't know.
Who?
I don't trust any of it.
Who?
They think it was that bird guy.
Aristotle is his name.
Yeah, him.
Possibly. If it came down from the sky, he does have wings and is capable of flight. Possibly. Keep an eye on him during the party. If he is the one killing nobles, he could be targeting either Siren or Lucia during the festivities. Keep an eye on them both. And be careful yourselves. He isn't known for worrying about collateral.
I'll let the others know that too. So they're also more careful.
I will be nearby during the party, but I will not be attending. I, for some reason, was not invited. There's going to be a lot of booze.
I'm still surprised we were, even if it's just for another job. We protect one guy once, and all of a sudden we're of interest.
It is odd and something feels a bit off. But regardless, it should be fine.
It pays well at least. Or rather, Chiron said it does.
I won't steal any of it, I promise. Not that you would know until it's too late, but I won't.
No, but at least you'll get some sort of information, right?
Of course, and his ears kind of perk up. I have to go. Goodbye. You know how he is.
He's just gonna let him go back inside.
Okay. And he just leaves into the woods.
He'll let the others in on the whole be safe, because Bird Boy's scary.
Yeah.
But
And I'm guessing you fill in on like most of it and everything. Okay. So yeah, potential assassination attempt. Who knows? Okay. And then when the time comes, you are able to go and collect your outfits. By the way, which those you've already paid for. So you are able to get them, and they are fabulous. And like small adjustments need made when you first get them, like just to ensure they are perfect. But like they are fantastic. So Sapling, Edna, you get your outfits. They fit you. The colors complement skin tone and the hair color. Like everything just complements everything. However, Sapling and Edna, you two do kind of match, um, incidentally, because of the colors. Um, and it's great. And then in Chiron's father is able to get the thing for Seth done, which that being whatever specifications you'd given.
Probably a nice suit, probably sleeveless, because I know that he doesn't like wearing sleeves. Though it is pretty cold out, so I'd probably include like a jacket just in case he wants it, and pants
Mm-hmm.
that have like probably slits or just room, like they're baggy for the fins.
Yeah, like real baggy pants.
Yeah.
Chiron's dad is showing. Yeah, in case it's cold, you gotta have the jacket just
Yeah, in case it's cold, you have to have the jacket and a tie, because yes,
a
and
tie
I can
make
help
anything
him,
fancy.
and I can help him tie it.
no, he will fight you on that. Specifically that. Everything else he has been okay with to a point. That tie, you will have to fight him. He will not willing.
Well, then I will at least put a nice little pocket square in his front pocket.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, you all are dressing up in whatever that may be, whether that's fancy clothes or, in Chiron's case, armor.
Yeah, I make sure that it is shiny, I guess.
Yeah, make it look all nice. I think you being the only one in armor at some point, like before the event, Marcus would have come up to you, the human gladiator. It's just like, hold on, there's a spot right. Yeah, let me. It's like if you're going to an event, you gotta, yeah. Here, I'll give you
Thank
some of
you.
my good armor wax. Here you and he helps you get looking all nice. Never been so shiny, even the day you bought it. But yeah. And so now you all are ready to go. Is there anything else from anybody before the event, before the main event? There are many days that could be in between, depending on when things happen. Very much. Uh,
Well, I
not exactly.
probably like gather a case file of sorts, get more information, but that's just like general. You can just
Yeah.
tell me later.
Yeah, it's just like general stuff. That's probably stuff like we'd go over right before the actual case of like.
Yes,
Because you'd have to
exactly.
go over it again at that point. Okay. So going over case file stuff, getting all that together. Okay. Well, if that is all, then dun dun dun. The day of, you were told to get there an hour before. Do you show up exactly an hour before? Are you a little late? Are
We
you early? Early.
I think we should aim for a bit early because, like, this is a fancy place that we need to be sure that we're there on time. And if we leave a bit early, we can get there a bit early. And if anything happens before we get there, we can still get there on time.
Yeah, that in Karen's dad really is showing. This is great. It's literally like that's hilarious because that is such a dad thing to say. Um, so you gather early. It's like, all right, let's go, and start heading off. Um, and you arrive nice and early. So you were told to get there around 5, going for like 4:30 type thing. You get there around
Yeah,
4:30.
about
Okay.
4:30.
So you get there 4:30. Guards kind of give you a bit of a look and are like, they're the first fucking people there. And but you're let in as you were expected, and you kind of like show tickets, and they let you in. You are led inside the main hall, which is all done up. They're finishing like a few small things here and there, and like you heard the guards kind of say, you are the only people in the room other than people setting up. You also do see um, the few people that you'd met. You see Victor. The non-rusted parts are a bit shinier. He's got a little bow tie around his neck. Um, he's kind of done up a little bit. Um, you see Mika is still wearing his armor. But it looks like, because it's leather, it looks like he might have done a bit of a shine on some parts of the leather. He's wearing on his hip a more ornamental dagger rather than a more functional one. Just small things. Samira has made no changes whatsoever. She is still wearing her kind of dingy armor and shawl, and there's a couple people that are looking at her like, and kind of came up to her and are like, you should wear something a little nicer. And she's just kind of like, go fuck yourself. uh, you can hear it from across the room. Uh, and then you have Stottle, who is already was glistening before when you saw him, but now it's just like, yeah, it's if there's he's like a disco ball. If he was like in the middle, if he like hovered and spun around in the middle of the room, he'd be like a disco ball. Um, and like he does have a couple nice looking weapons actually visible on his body, like pistols. um these are like 6 shooters. um and they're the only people that you recognize down here currently. Otherwise it's just like servants and things that are cleaning the place up. um and the guard who led you in just kind of says, just wait in here for a bit. There's chairs and stuff if you want to sit. um Other people will be here soon. Other people doing similar things to you. You can chat with them if you want. If not, that's fine. But I assume you know what to do and everything. You were briefed.
Yes.
Perfect. And so you're in. Do you guys take a seat somewhere and chill?
Once people get here, I'm gonna introduce myself to some of the other groups.
Of course. I'll say it's a bunch of like scattered like individuals for the most part, but there is one other group about your size. There are 4 people. Um, so roughly the same, because there's technically a 5th person. They're just not here right now. But there's 4 of them. Um, and they're all smiles. They seem to already be kind of like getting a little bit into the festivities. Each of them have like a drink in hand, whether they brought with them or not. Um, and they see you approach and go. The guy who looks kind of like the leader looks at you and goes, "Oh, hello. What can I do for you?"
Um, I'm just here to introduce myself. In Chiron Laratri, and I'm also working here, but I just wanted to introduce myself.
No, of course. And he's a slightly taller side halfling. Um Similarly wearing like a fancy dress mixed with like some leather armor over top. like really spiked hair. Just gives you a firm handshake. He's like, and he's like, "Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm oh, excuse me, I'm Bron. Uh, um, so you and your group, you're also watching over the event, make sure no bad things happen."
Yes, generally.
The worst thing that's going to happen, I swear, is it's going to be a bunch of rich assholes getting drunk off cheap and expensive, very expensive, so expensive wine, and I plan to partake. But yes, this is my group, and they're already kind of like most of them are just kind of like mingling with each other. They seem like a pretty tight knit group. Uh, but yeah, um, we'll be out and about. Don't be strangers. I figure we watch each other, eh?
Of course.
All right. Well, okay. Um, hey, I mean, listen, nobody's watching the bar, so you can totally go back there and grab things. At least they didn't see me. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. Um, but it was nice meeting you. And he kind of swigs it back. I need a bit more. I'll be right back. He's like, I promise I won't have more later. Just right now. Things haven't started yet. I have an hour to sober up. And he goes over and he just pours a little bit more. Okay. What about the rest of you? Are you guys just kind of sitting and chilling? Or do you want to mingle with anybody? No? Okay.
I
Well,
feel like Edna would mingle, but I do not have it in me to roleplay that right now.
that is fair and valid. But you mingle and meet some people. There seem to be people from all different walks of life. Most of them, kind of like yourself, seeming a little confused why they're allowed here and why they were invited. Most of them haven't done any kind of bodyguard work like you. It just seems kind of like they went and just hired a bunch of mercenaries. Which, for a place that has their own private security force on top of guards, feels a little odd. So, and you do gather from your mingling with people, the running theory among the people that are here is that, like, they're expecting something. Like, they think that the Von Ripleys think something's going to happen. And so they've kind of really gathered everyone together. But this is a very secure place. Guards everywhere on top of you guys. So at the same time, it's kind of like this feels kind of pointless. Is the running feeling in the room. But around 6 o'clock hits, and people start pouring in, most of them having been kept outside the doors until time and then let in all at once. Some people do continue to trickle in as time goes on, and the room gets packed. There is a good number of people in here. This is a main hall. It is by no means an entire massive ballroom. But it's still very large. And so some people are mingling on because there's the two staircases, the one staircase that splits left and right that leads onto the second floor. And there are like balconies that rim the room. And so as people are mingling at the bottom, there are also people that are up top. Guards kind of watching the hallways so that people can't go in the directions they're not supposed to. Um, so, what I would like is we'll start with in Chiron. What are you focusing on during this? Do you want to watch the people? Do you want to um where do you direct your main attention?
Well, I suppose since we were told we were allowed to partake, I do get some little things like an hors d'oeuvre or two, but I generally am watching the people
Hmm. Okay.
and making sure Edna isn't getting into an altercation. Every so often, just checking in, what's she doing?
Okay.
But generally
She's
looking at the people.
she's fuming and trying to look mad. Like, if I look mad enough, the ritzy people will not talk to me.
I would say honestly, Edna, at some point, Samira, the similarly pissed looking woman, kind of like sidles up alongside you, just kind of is like, you you don't like this either, huh?
Every second I'm in this city, a little part of me dies.
It's like, we're going to get along. And she kind of walks away, and you hear this like weird laughter as she walks away, but it's not from her, but it's from her direction. It's a little unsettling.
I really wish the hot ones that walk up wouldn't be weird about it.
Uh, in Kyron, go ahead and make me an insight check. Reading the crowd, reading
Oh, sweet.
everything.
That is a pretty solid 22.
Ooh, very solid. Okay. With a 22, you're looking around, you're reading the room. Uh, would you be doing this from the ground floor or the second floor?
Probably the ground floor.
Okay. Kind of making your way through, looking at people. It really is a lot of just kind of uppity snobs. There are some richer merchants that are here, still a bit snobbish, but they're kind of less so than some of like the old money people that are here. Because that's the thing is like there is a fair mix, but a lot of these people are like old money, like generational wealth, is what is filling this room. It's the kind of people that's like their grandparents or great grandparents started a business and it just carried on, and most of these people haven't worked a day in their life. Um, and you kind of are watching, and at one point you do see a couple older dwarvish businessmen, and they're starting to kind of, you can tell they might have had a little bit to drink, and they're starting to get a little like, that was my business, my father started that thing. And the other guy's like, no, 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 that's my area. That's like, they're starting to get a little heated.
Excuse me, is everything all right?
Everything's fine, I suppose, except for this jackass. And the other guy's like, oh, whatever. Gonna beat your ass.
Uh, I ask that there's no exchanging of blows in here, or exchanging of shouts, really. Try to keep it civil. Maybe go to opposite sides of the room.
Make a persuasion check.
um, a 14.
Okay. What's really funny is when you've rolled really good, like a nat 20, and I've rolled against it for something, I roll good, but not that good. Every time you've rolled or bad, I've rolled worse. I kid you not. I've been using different dice every time. Um, and so, yeah. Um, they kind of huff and they're like, tell me what to do. But they do it anyway. They kind of like separate, grab their drinks and their or plate of hors d'oeuvres, and in a huff rush over to the other end of the room. Um, you've de-escalated an argument. Hell yeah, you're doing your job. Um, you do notice something though with that insight as well. There is a anticipation, like something is coming. Not an anticipation of like tension and bad, but more an anticipation of part of the event that you're not from, that you don't know of, that these people seem to be waiting for. Kind of like at a concert when the opener's out and you're waiting for the main event. Um, Seth, what are you doing? And you can do the same thing. You can just choose to read the crowd, but if there's a specific thing you want to be doing, What are you doing?
He's specifically keeping an eye on Bird Boy. Olicast warned him about him. Other people have been warning us about him. He feels iffy about this whole fucking thing. So he's kind of watching him.
Your passive perception is great, and let's be real, it'd be really hard to miss him. There's not a single person in this room that looks like him. You keep track of him very well. You could make a few checks to try to figure out things about him. You could do an insight and see if you can read like body language. You could do get closer and do like an investigation of his person. If there's something else you can think of, you can do a general perception, see if you can see anything else about him, and what he's doing. Because like with your passive, you can keep track of him easy. But anything else, you'd have to make some type of check.
I think he'd still get a little closer, but less to look at him and more so listen. So insight.
I would say that wouldn't even be insight, that'd be perception. Because you're listening. Insight would be
Either way.
like intention and things like that.
You can get that from people's voices too.
Yeah, but that
While
wouldn't
you
be
can
the
hear
way to
them.
say- while you can hear them, yeah.
Imagine hearing. Couldn't be me.
That's valid.
25.
5. Okay. So he is currently in a conversation with I'll say with that man with the blonde hair, that Mika that you'd met. Seems like they're having a conversation about the party currently, which I'll say you hear Mika say, a lot of people here, most faces we already know. I haven't seen anything of concern, though. It seems our bodyguards are doing well. Have you noticed anything of concern? Yeah. Um. So, and you see Astottle kind of think for a moment, and he's kind of like, not a lot of, not a lot of expression on his face. You see the eyes kind of like open and close a bit. And Astottle says,
Haven't really noticed much myself, thankfully.
listen, old PC of Connor's, I'm having Connor do the voices because I have to do so many. I'm offloading voices at this point.
I don't mind doing this shit. I get to pull the hat out on the occasion.
Yeah, listen, I'm volunteering your services to do NPC voices because there's so many. I don't want to talk to myself. Well, that's good. Lucia's up in his room currently, and Siren, he just looks over toward the stairs. He's, I think, 3 glasses in.
Only 3? That's an improvement.
True,
Since
that is low
last
for
time.
him. That,
Give him another hour and I'm sure he'll get through another 5 if we don't keep an eye on him.
of course. You know, this is the one night a year you're not totally insufferable. Is it because you're actually focused? Can you focus?
Can I not focus? Is the better question. You're still just as insufferable as usual.
Oh. Fuck off.
I would if she looked at me.
Listen, I... you know something else. You know what you should do? You should go talk to Lolo. Oh, Lolo's over there. Go talk to her. And he's just gonna start walking away. He's gonna walk away. And about that time, Aristotle and Seth, you see a woman beginning to very quickly approach the bird figure. She looks very excited. She's wearing a dress that's a little too big in places and a little too small in others. It's very ill-fitting. She's got like glasses a little bit like pushed up like right against the eyes, practically the massive lenses, and she starts frantically talking to Aristotle, basically like, "How's the party? Oh my god, it's amazing! The party's doing great. This is the greatest party ever. I can't believe it. I've never been to one of these before." She's just firing off to the point where Seth, you're hearing everything, but it's at one point or another, it just becomes a mess and blend of words. You can't follow anymore.
Seth at this point just kind of like, I'm done with that. He's gonna go probably just stalking around for a while.
Okay. Edna, you're next on my list. Um, Anything in particular you're doing during this? Watch or just watching the crowd?
Edna is going to purposefully go to areas where there are not many partygoers because she's checking to see if something nefarious is going on,
Ooh.
or someone might not be looking. Not because she doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Okay, actually, it's very smart. Go ahead and make either an investigation or perception check.
Let's go perception. Let's not go perception. That's an 8.
An 8. So what I'll tell you with perception is that you go and you do find a couple places, very few places where there aren't anybody. But you start to look around, and like one of those places is outside where like the bathrooms would be, and there's a couple people milling about there having drinks, seeming almost kind of anxious, and they're just kind of like, a lot of people out there, I'm gonna chill over here type thing. And one person like tries to strike up a conversation with you, sees your face because you look very peeved, and they just don't. They just don't.
What they thought.
But you don't notice anything nefarious. It honestly seems above board.
Ugh. If they're going to make me sit in this hellhole all night, it could at least be interesting. I could make it interesting. No, I said I wouldn't. And is gonna walk back to where she can be observed.
Okay. And in Chiron, you were watching Edna. At one point, Edna just disappears and then reappears shortly after.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Edna's gonna come up to you. I looked around for anything suspicious. There was nothing. I will begin seething here. Observable again.
There's probably going to be something exciting happening soon. Don't worry.
And Sapling, last but not least, how do you want to assist in the bodyguarding and defending and things?
Yes, and things. Remind me of the two most packed places. I know a lot of people are in the main hall, but there are people somewhere else? Question mark.
The main hall and the balconies that surround the top floor of the main hall, because it's basically like a two-story building with the stairs leading up, like a big grand staircase that leads up to the second floor, and then it's just like, is banisters the right word? Maybe the like railed off second story that loops the edge of the room. That's where most other people are. So it's still technically the main hall, but it's just like ground floor and second.
Okay. Um. Nah, I changed my mind. I'm not going up there. I'm just gonna. I'll be in the main hall. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into the crowd. I'm very big. I can see over the crowd. So I'm just gonna be in with the people, talking to people and looking at people
Okay.
and watching people
Okay.
like a hawk.
I'll have to have you do one check. Which of those things do you want to really be focusing on? The talking, listening or watching?
Watching.
Watching? Go ahead and make a perception check then.
Ooh. Hang on. That is a 26.
26. You are tall. You are big. You can see over the crowd very easy. People do come up and talk to you, and you chit chat and listen to them and the people around you as you're looking around. But what you see is you see many waiters bustling through the crowd, carrying drinks and food to various people, refilling the tables of various hors d'oeuvres and shoots of champagne and other fine drinks. But you also see that there is people. People that nobody else is really paying attention to. Wearing the black leather armor and the face coverings. Similar to that one man Mika. Similar to the ones you were told to ignore. But you do see them. You count 5 that you can see. And they just are kind of making their way through the crowd, looking around at people. But nobody seems to pay them any mind whatsoever, despite how out of place they look.
That's fine.
But they seem to be making their way around. You do also see at the top of the stairs, you see the graying, red-headed man with the mechanical parts, who, in Chiron, I don't recall, did you share who you knew that person to be, that being Lucia? Had you shared that?
Probably.
I think
With
you might have.
it's important.
Okay.
He's important for people to know how to identify.
Okay. So then you see Lucia, Von Ripley, and then Siren, who's swaying a bit as they approach the top of the stairs. And they turn toward the crowd. And then Victor kind of takes his place next to them, as well as the other 3 figures that you know by name. And Victor kind of claps his hands together, silencing the room almost immediately. And he then looks toward Siren, who takes a wonky step forward, and he goes, "Thank you, everybody, for coming to my party. I want to... Yes, to thank you for being here. You are all amazing people. And then Lucia kind of puts a hand on the shoulder. I'll take care of this. And he steps like, oh, okay. Takes another drink. And Lucia says, kind of stands up straight and says, I would like to thank you all, yes. It is good to have you all here. This is a event started by my parents, and I carry on the legacy. It is an honor to have such esteemed guests, as well as those that came to watch over us tonight. Could we get a round of applause for those protecting us? And the people kind of clap, and then he waits for it to stop and says, it is tradition around here to... We collected each of your tickets on the way in. And as some of you know, it is tradition that we pull one of these and we crown this person. It's a symbolic gesture, started by my father, but an important one. It is in honor. So I suppose now we should do so. And of course, there is a bit of a prize other than just the title. Do we have a sapling somewhere?
Yes.
Do you kind of like hand up kind of thing, or
Yeah.
yeah?
It's easy to say.
And he kind of looks over the crowd, then sees you, and grabs something that Mika was holding, and motions you forward. Please approach.
I will approach.
You
I'm
approach.
so scared. So scaredy.
Ah. And as he's walking down, he says, "As I said, it is tradition. We pass this crown from person to person. Everyone who wears it, at least in part, an honorary member of the house, even if just for the remainder of the night, with all the titles and benefits therein." And he reaches the bottom of the steps about the time you get up there. And he says, "Ah, could you kneel down a bit, please?"
Oh, yes.
Yes. And it was legitimately a roll of the dice. There's 4 of you on screen. I rolled a d4, it was 4, and you're the last person on my screen.
Yay.
um, and you lean down, and he places the crown on your head. It's interesting. It feels so light, but there's a weight to it. It's this one that's put on your head is a black iron crown. Very simple in design. Not a lot of frills, no gems set in. It almost looks like it might have been handmade at one point. And he says, "You're not afraid of cats, are you?"
Oh, no, not at all.
Good. It is tradition. It used to be a painter, but, well, let's be honest, painting takes time. We have a sort of like a flash photograph. Um, if you don't mind standing in front of the stairs with me here.
Okay.
And the crowd clears a little bit, and a man sets up a device with like a bulb on top and like a bunch of stuff, like the old timey uh, thing to take a flash photograph back in like the old days. Um, Sets all that up, gets it all ready, and then says, we got to scoot forward a little bit," and you hear like a growling purr approach. And you turn your head and look, and you see a displacer beast being led by somebody to take its position behind you.
That's a big cat.
It is a big cat. And he takes his hand and he places it on its head and gives it a bit of a pet. And it poses, it actually like poses behind you with like a little bit of a snarl on its face. And then very quickly, while you're still like adjusting to holy shit, that thing, he's like, "Smile." And the flash goes off. um, and a moment passes, and the guy behind the camera kind of like gives a thumbs up, and he looks to you and says, "If you'd like, you can hold on to that crown the rest of the night.
Oh, yay.
Just, I will need it back at the end."
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for attending, and as part of your reward for this, normally we would offer something like one of our many horses or something, but you were not in need of that. So instead, I would like to extend an offer to you. Um, you may. What the fuck was that? Okay. uh, I have a vehicle that I'm no longer in need of. I would like to extend it to you and your group. Um, it is a land vehicle. You'd have to see it. Is that something that would possibly aid you in your travels. It moves a bit faster than you can on foot or by horse.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Of course. And you are a friend of the house, and your picture will now be in our halls. But old traditions, you know what they are. But anyway, please and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
And he ascends the steps and takes his place back with his people. They give a short little rest of the speech, and then things go back to it. And the rest of the party is nice. For the most part, things go pretty well. You have some other bodyguards there that help break up small little disagreements between really rich people, shit like that. But generally, it goes pretty nicely. Um, Siren ends up joining the crowd and just vibing with two bodyguards directly around him. One of them being Mika himself, another being Samira, and then Lucia just kind of disappears, presumably going back to wherever he came from, because you hadn't seen him out here previously. Um, Anything you guys want to do at this point? Most of the party is fine. You have nothing further that you really need to break up, except like there's a few things here and there, but generally it goes fine. Anything else that you want? No? Okay. Well, the festivities, a few hours later, begin to wrap up. Has anyone here had anything to drink? Because if so, I just have to have you make a con save so that I can, see if you're tipsy or not. No.
Edna probably snuck something.
Go ahead and make me a quick
Edna
con
would
save.
sneak something. Make it
Yeah.
a little easier to deal with.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yo,
No, totally makes sense.
It's like a unnatural 20.
Oh, you're fine. Like, you took it, and, like, it took a little bit of the edge from everything off, but you're not
It could
not
have
even
been
feeling anything.
stronger.
Yeah. It's that rich people shit. It's not very strong. But things are good generally. And at one point, you were approached by Mika, who kind of gathers you one by one and says, "It's time to get the remainder of your payment and see you out as things are wrapping up. You've done well. Thank you for keeping an eye on things, even if it was rather boring. Uh, Trust me, I do these every year. It never gets easier." Um, he leads you upstairs, and you head to that same room as before. Knocks on the door. Door opens, lets you inside. He says, "I'll be outside the door, as will Aristotle, I guess." And so you see the mechanical bird also take place outside the door. And the chairs are in there as well. And instead of Siren behind the desk, it is Lucia, who also looks rather bored, just kind of sitting there, fiddling with some things on the desk. Another similar sack of coin to the first on the desk. He seems to be sipping some like bluish tea. Immediately in Chiron, you can actually recognize the smell distinctly. It's like a peppermint and lavender and some other things. This is the Scoetian tea, the leaves being blue themselves, dyeing the water. Very recognizable, very huge export. But he motions for you to sit. Uh, Thank you all for coming tonight. I hope things were to your liking. Um, but yes. Payment, I suppose, is what you're waiting for. And he kind of like starts to push it over and stops. Before I do, I have a question. Just, and he looks to Seth. What is your name again? I believe I saw it on the roster, but I don't.
Seth.
Seth, you probably already know my name. My name is Lucia. And he kind of, you see his hand is shaking a bit. His non-mechanical one. Why are you this way? Were you born this way? I'm sorry if that is blunt. I tend to be a bit more blunt, I'm told.
No. I wasn't born.
Do you know? And he kind of rolls up one of his sleeves a little bit, and you just see almost perfect lines and shapes of scars covering his body. You could see a few on his neck and on his face, but on his arms, they are covered every inch of skin. Like a maze. And he kind of leans forward and he says, does the name of the doctor mean anything to you?
He involuntarily kind of lets out a growl.
I think that is yes.
Of course, he's...
I saw many things when I was looking into him. I've been following him for a while, and he kind of starts to drum his hand on the table, like his fingers on the table anxiously. Over the past many years, there are certain signs of his creations, and you have them. He did many things to me. But he got to you worse, it seems.
I'm not even the only one. We're not. There's so many others. I'm trying to stop.
You're trying to stop it. There are things you can do. There's resistance. You could try talking to them. Perhaps they would help. But they don't know enough. I haven't been able to talk to them. They won't talk to me. They see me as rich and the enemy. They won't talk to me, but maybe they'll talk to you.
I actually kind of met them already. I've put forward an offer to talk to them. Haven't heard anything back yet.
The room, starting at his teacup and emanating out, blackness, pitch blackness, emanates from his cup. Dark vision does not penetrate it. And it fills the room quickly. And he says, fuck.
I will
Yes.
dispel magic, 3rd level.
What is the rules on that again? I need to check something. Oh, God, it didn't start typing in time. Because there's a thing, I forget what the thing is for, like, if it's above that, what the math is on that. Because it is above 3rd level. Yeah.
It's a 10 plus the spell's level.
Okay. And it's what check? Oh, it's just with your spellcasting ability.
Using my wisdom.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to roll for that.
Come on.
You have good wisdom, so like this is doable.
I do. It's just I have to roll well.
You have to roll well.
I did not. I rolled an 11.
Okay. I'll tell you, it was above. What would that be? Oh, even
Oh
though
no, I
it
rolled
would've
an
been
11
14.
total.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, no. Because I think the DC, because it's 10 plus spells level, it's like a. I'll tell you, it was a 15. I was trying to do the math in my head. I was trying to figure out if it was like the increase above third. No, it's just the level. So yeah, it would have been 15. Okay, 11 total. The darkness fills the room. You try the dispel magic, it doesn't work. And you hear Lucius say, as your vision is cut entirely, dark vision does not penetrate this type of darkness. You hear him say, you have to tell them the doctor is not. And then it cuts. He stops. And you hear this wet, gagging sound. And then the shattering of a window. First you hear the chair fall over that he's sitting in and hit the wall, and then the window behind him shattering. Immediately the darkness starts to dissipate. You're starting to be able to see again. He's gone. There's blood on the table. He's gone, and the door behind you bursts open. The first face that peeks through is Mika. And he looks. And he doesn't say anything. And then the door opens a little further, and a head peeks in from above him, the metal beak of Aristotle, who looks at all of you. And despite the fact that the face cannot contort, the eyes narrow, and he starts to try to push past Mika, who has to forcibly hold him back. And Mika looks at all of you and says, stay here. What are you all doing?
I am going to attempt to cure wounds. Lucia.
Lucia's out the window.
Cure wounds. Oh, he's out the window?
The window shattered. He is not in the room. He is out the window.
Oh, then I'm gonna go to the window and look for him and see how far away he is.
You're on the second story. So he is roughly 25 feet down, and you can see him, and he is not moving.
Channel Divinity. Divine Spark. I'm gonna try to heal him.
Okay.
Plus my...
Okay.
Which is, 8 health.
Let me... I want to make sure I'm... Yeah, okay. He does not move. What that means, you're not sure, but he does not move. Okay. So what about the rest of you? What are you doing? Seth, he was about to tell you something. And now he has been harmed and then dragged out the window. I gotta roll a couple things while you guys do that. Okay, I had to roll some things because there was damage involved to that, and I needed to do that to see if that would help. I gotta roll that. Okay, yep. So, if none of you do anything, then the people are gonna come, then something will happen, but I'm trying to see if there's anything you want to do. No? Oh,
I mean, I think Seth would just kind of join in Chiron by his side, trying to figure out what the fuck just happened.
Okay. And you see him. He is down there, currently unmoving, blood pooling around him. After a moment, the door opens, slowly, but fully. And Mika is standing there, paler than he already was. And he kind of, through a bit of gritted teeth, he says, I need you all to follow me. Please. And he stands out of the way so you can exit the room. Motions for you. Okay. And he walks you downstairs into the main lobby, which at this point, there's like a handful of people down there. And he says, I would appreciate it if you would all take a seat on one of the chairs. We're going to call the guard in here, including a investigator, and we're going to figure out what happened. But I'd like you to tell me, without the guard here, what happened.
We were talking. I don't say, but I looked to Seth.
You cutting out a little bit.
Uh,
Look
I,
towards Seth.
I looked toward. Should
You cut out the last bit too.
should we? There, I did it. I spoke in my normal tone, so it.
So,
Some kind of darkness came out of his cup. And then we heard noises.
I tried to dispel it. It was magic, but I was surprised I couldn't focus.
Seth, I'm going to have you do the roll because you were telling that part of it about what happened there. I want you to make a persuasion check because that is true, but I want you to do it with advantage because Chiron was also speaking.
Off-brand 20.
Off-brand 20. Okay. He nods and says, I want to believe you. I really do. And I'm not saying I don't. But you have to understand how bad of a situation this is. I have no way of knowing that you didn't have a hand in it at least. So the guard are going to come down here and they're going to take a look. We have somebody watching over him currently. And we'll see what happens.
Is
And-
he all right?
No, he's not. There was... I don't know exactly what it is yet, but it seems that there was some type of acid involved. I saw that some of the wounds were healed up, so I'm assuming you tried something.
I did, yes.
It can't quite fix the damage that was done. Not without a great deal more, and you can kind of see Victor off in the distance, and he is distraught and almost very loud, kind of manic. And he kind of looks at Victor and looks back at you guys. Victor couldn't get to him in time. It was... And he kind of laughs a little bit, like that nervous laugh. It's just... He was too big for the doors. Just wait here. And he kind of just waits. He leaves out the front doors waiting. A couple guards post up at the front doors and other exits, so you can't leave. At this point, you are basically the only people in here that don't belong here. And after a few minutes, the guards arrive, and some of them go out back. Some of them come in and question you, and I assume you tell them the same sorts of things. Okay. About halfway through you telling what happened, or I'll say by the end, the guards that went out back come back around, and they are holding something. They have a bag that they put something inside, and they have like gloves over their hands and that whole thing. And they're holding a tooth. Seth, you've seen enough of these. You've seen your own teeth a lot.
Have a whole fucking bag of the shits.
And the detective says, we found this on the body. Does anyone have anything to say about that? This was punctured through the neck, and there was also traces of acid burns from the region. On top of that, he did seem to... We don't believe that he died from the acid or from this, but it was the fall. The initial damage was severe but could have been healed, but the fall itself is what did it. He seems to have been harmed and then either fallen back or pushed out the window. Of course, we don't know that. We'll have to question you all under more scrutinous things to figure that out, but that is what we know as of now. Do any of you have anything to say about that? You say there was darkness, so how do you know that one of you didn't do it?
Seth says nothing, but he's looking at Enkyra. You know, the eyes kind of wide, a little frightened look.
I don't think any of us have a Mr. Von Ripley here.
Possibly not, but I suppose that's what we'll be here to figure out. Although, I think we should probably do that at the station. For now, until the matter is resolved, you are all under arrest. Please come quietly and without issue, and we will not have a problem. And they take out manacles for each of you. Does anyone resist? Seth is deciding by a dice, it seems like.
I'm not deciding by dice. I'm rolling sanity.
Ah. So, does anyone resist? No? No. we're just waiting on Connor.
He isn't exactly resisting, but he's clinging to Encheiron.
Okay, roll athletics, please. Because they are going to try and separate you.
14.
21. As you try to cling to Chiron, they aren't rough, but they definitely are forcibly removing you from Chiron and then doing that. Putting the manacles on, and then they start to lead you down to the station. And so, as you arrive, you are all put into one cell together. You are kept together. You're not separated. But for the time being, you are behind bars. At least until the matter of the death of Lucia von Ripley can be decided, and whether you did in fact play a part in it. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight. I hope you all enjoy it. As far as stream goes, that's over. Good night.